Hey guys, J Man here back in the danger room. All right, we're just talking about whatever you want to talk about. I heard some rumors, some stuff that Shang-Chi might be banned in China, Eternals might be banned in China because of whatever, because of issues that they have. I don't know why Disney keeps trying to pander to this to China where like they don't like half the stuff that they do. But although they did really like Justice League, so apparently China was super cool with everything that happened in Justice League. So I don't know why they just don't accept other things. I guess Shang Chi because it has the Fu Manchu reference, maybe, or I don't know. They're upset. I don't know why they're upset at Eternals. Maybe there's something in there I don't know about. Hey, skeptic, how's it going? Bad Batch. Yes, I know. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm gonna. I haven't watched episode 2 or 3 yet. I am going to watch 2 and 3. Probably this week. Man, I gotta catch up on those. I just gotta power through those. All right. Hey, Arkham Gaming, how's it going, dude? Okay. Hey, Arkham, if you ever want to come on and do a Batman talk, just you and me talking Batman, we can put it as one of our amazing fans segment. I'm gonna do Flash this Friday with Skeptic. So if you ever want to do Batman, just you and I talking, let me know. Let me know. Yeah, yeah, the first episode's a bit longer. So but yeah. All right. Let's bring in Steve. Let's phase Steve in. How's it going, Steve?
Another day in paradise.
Another day, yep. All right, come okay, so let's set that up. You and I we can do it even the Friday, not this Friday, but the Friday after if you want, if you're free on Friday. If you're not free on a Friday, you can tell me what other what other day you wanna do it. And I since you've seen so many Batman and read so much Batman, I would consider you a pretty good expert on Batman. So yeah, Steve, did you see Bad Batch or no?
I watched episode one.
Okay, so
Um,
I've seen. What did you?
yeah, it was cool. I get confused a lot because watching Clone Wars, I thought the Bad Batch had already been established there. Um, I actually talked to Sean this afternoon and I asked him about that, and he said, yeah, there was an episode where he thinks that the guy that was introduced in there who was like a bad, like a degenerate and like a flawed clone is actually now tech on the show. Um, so I was like, I don't remember.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think there are some people like one of them or something is part of the Bad Batch.
yeah, yeah, because they've already dealt with this topic before. A skeptic.
All right, so Arkham, are you follow? Are we on Twitter? Are we linked up on Twitter? Or you could just if you're cool with, because I'll need your email or something, or even your Twitter. Let me see. Am I following you on Twitter? I don't know who I follow anymore, so I apologize if I am. And I'll never find. I'll never. I'm not following that many people. I don't know. I can't. I've got so many things. I'm at Lifetime Nerd. Lifetime Nerd. So follow me on that, and then I'll follow you back, and then we can. I can send you a link privately when we're ready to go on Friday. All right. So yeah. So okay. So yeah. You're a bit confused on like which characters were already like introduced.
Yeah, which ones were already established? Because I swear I saw like flawed clones already on Clone Wars, and I swore they called them the Bad Batch. That's why when they announced this, I was like, okay, they've already done this. So I was a little bit confused. But
Mm-hmm.
the one good thing it does is that there was always that question about what happened after to the clones after they did Order 66. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of cool that they're doing this because watching Rebels takes place 15 years after the end of the Clone Wars. So it happens like right up to where Star Wars, I refuse to call it A New Hope, Star Wars starts. Like it's right just before that time period. And not to do a spoiler.
You can spoil it now. It's been like two or
um,
3 weeks. So
yeah, well, no, for Rebels, but like
oh,
Rebels
Rebels.
they do run across former clones at one point. But there's something with those clones that they didn't participate in Order 66. That's all I'm going to say. So you never quite knew what happened to the clones right after Order 66. So I really like the fact that they're now addressing it. Crosshairs. I mean, Skeptic. I don't know if you want to keep watching this because, like, I'm going to, there's going to be mild spoilers here. But Crosshairs, what happens with him, called it. Like, that was obvious that was going to take place because he was already weird.
I mean, yeah, half an hour in, you know that he's like really hardcore. Like, I gotta follow like strict orders or whatever. So we knew he was gonna be against them or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like the whole thing with the female was telegraphed. Like, I think that they tried to produce it like it was almost like a surprise reveal, but didn't feel that way at all. I kind of knew right off the bat that she was a clone. But overall, pretty good. I like that each of the clones has personality. They all have their own thing that they're good at, except Omega, who I don't know what she's good at right now.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be something with her, obviously, because she's a female clone. Has there been a female clone before?
No.
Yeah. So this is, I Saturday nights I listen to Echo Base Network, and they, I followed you back. I followed you, Arkham. I followed you back. So I followed you back. We're good. So it won't be this Friday coming up, but it'll be the Friday after. It's like the Friday series. Remember Friday, the next Friday, the Friday after next. Those are all great movies. Oh, I'm knocking my thing around here. How's there a female clone? Yeah, so they're going to explain that, I guess. Why is there a female clone? Is she going to be a Force user, or is she going to be something special? I don't know. So people were suggesting that this is one of these things where Disney needs to have a princess. They need to have a female to be part of their princess line. So
well, she fits the profile.
She fits it, right? So like that's literally what they're thinking. Now, I mean, I'm okay with that. Like, it is what it is. Like,
I'm at the point where I think I just pretty much like I don't have any power over what they do. So yeah, well, she's been modified, right? Like, they've all been modified and given special abilities, and assume she's one of them, but what she was given is the question that we haven't seen yet. But like,
everyone's got their thing, right?
Yeah, I just accept, like, they just put it out there and it's out there for public consumption. Like, whenever we've released a book that we've written, it's not like people have a lot of power over what we put in. We decide, we have the final say. But by having that power, we also have the ability, we also now have people critiquing it and saying, well, I wouldn't have done this and I wouldn't. So that's the trade-off to me. Like, you put it out there, that's cool. I'll decide if I like it or not. That's the trade-off I see.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't care if there's a female. Like, I mean, we'll see what happens with her. Like, if she's a cool character, that's cool. If she's not a cool character, then I'll say she's not a cool character, and that's the end of it. I don't really care, like, one way or another. What's the big deal? Like, who cares? So we just have to see how it plays out. I'm judge every Star Wars. I judge everything on its own. I watch the movie I'm watching. Do I like the movie I'm watching? Yes or no? And then we can critique from there.
Right. Well, it's funny because too, I was thinking about the West Force users post better to me, especially don't kill out the character because.
Oh yeah, because they're supposed to be. They don't want the Force users, right? That's the whole thing.
So Skeptic's right. Like, the problem is that by continuously muddying around with the area in front of Star Wars, like New Hope, you're constantly opening up the door to. And I asked Sean this question because he's seen Rebels, and I'm in season 3 right now. There's 3 or 4, right? And the question is that these characters who are in Rebels who see Clone Wars is fine because they're using known characters who we've already seen the beginning, middle, and end of. Like what happens with Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin
Right.
Skywalker, all that. But like in Rebels, they're all like the main cast, they're all new characters. So if you don't end that properly, which I don't think they did, the question now is why didn't I see these characters in Star Wars?
Yeah. So we addressed this sort of before, where before all of this, there was the Star Wars live action films, and then there's everything else. Any big franchise, right? Like if we talk about Batman as a franchise, if we talk about like Indiana Jones, if we talk about Doctor Who, right? Doctor Who's great. So there's Doctor Who TV show, but there's also the Big Finish audio adventures. There's novels. There's comic books, right? There's what else? What else do they have? You know, there's spin-off series, whatever, right? So anything that's not Doctor Who TV show, because that's what started it, right? So like the Doctor Who TV show is the real thing. That's the real Doctor Who. So if you're listening to a Big Finish audio play and they say something, you're like, oh shit, hey, that doesn't make sense with, you know, episode 15 of the Third Doctor. You know,
yeah.
Well, then too bad, because the TV show wins. So Batman is a comic book character. That's what he started out as. So the Batman comics is what I care about. Outside of Batman comics, I don't care. Like, it's like, well, Batman kills in this one. Well, he really shouldn't kill. Well, I guess he killed in this movie. Well, that's like, that. It doesn't mean, I'm not saying I like it or I don't like it, right? Like, I didn't like Batman 89 when they said Joker killed his parents.
Yeah.
Like, right away, I was like in the theater. I'm like, oh, whoa, that's weird, right? But that's that movie thing where it's like, oh, they have to have it where, like, you know, the movie, the villain ties in with the hero. You know, like, why? Why do they need that? I don't like that. And Batman also killed in that movie, so that was 2 strikes on that movie from the comics. But then everything else was awesome, so you kind of just, you're like, well, it is what it is, right? So I mean, what are you gonna do? Same with Star Wars. So if you have, to me, these animated series are messed up. So Disney messed up because Disney came along and said, okay, everything that wasn't the original movies, like live action movies, so episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Solo, Rogue One, right? Everything other than that is now not canon. And starting now, everything is canon.
Right.
And then that got effed up within 1 second.
Yeah.
Right? Like like the first episode of Rebels. It's like, wait a minute, where's this character in New Hope? Oh, well, he'll die at the end of this. Okay, well, why am I watching this then? It's not like Rogue One where you know they're all gonna die. But the point of it, and you may not even know that they're all going to die in Rogue One because you're not really for sure. Maybe some of them were fighting in the Rebel Wars. We just didn't see them again, right? They didn't do anything interesting. But that's a one-off movie for fun, having a cool battle and, you know, showing how they got the plans. You're making a series now, and you're saying, oh yeah, this isn't canon, or no, this is canon. Well, now you got the guy sitting there with like, that didn't happen, and that didn't happen, and that doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? Why don't you just let it be to say that, okay, look, the movies, like George Lucas always said, the movies are the movies. Video games, comics, novels, those record adventures, right? Like, that's all just for fun.
Yeah.
And if you like it, you can pretend in your mind it's part of it. This is the Wonder Woman Snyderverse conversation we had the other night. Is it canon? Is it not canon in the Snyderverse? Well, it doesn't matter. It is. It's the same actors, director, producers. Like, that sounds like it's the same thing to me. It's the same thing with Batman Forever. Batman Forever is part 3 of Batman Returns. Like, everyone is the same except for Batman, or they're new people. Now Harvey Dent got recast though, but it doesn't matter. It's the same producers. So it is what it is. He's making him vodka milkshake nice. Well, I didn't see Ahsoka in the trilogy. Yeah, I don't know. Where's Ahsoka?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you
I don't know. It may have been
yeah.
canon. It would have been canon when it had come out.
Yeah, I'm guessing that with Ahsoka because I asked that question to myself because I love Ahsoka, as you know, and I feel like if you watch Rebels, something happens that you could sort of make up in your mind why she wasn't around for the OG trilogy. Um, that is if she doesn't reappear in Rebels, which I haven't got to the end of yet.
She
But to be
might.
honest with you, the thing that sort of is mind boggling to me is how we keep returning to all these stories that take place before Star Wars when you have this galaxy of characters and you can work in whatever timeline you want to. You can go back to the Old Republic, you can go past like Return of the Jedi, you can go past what was the Rise of Skywalker. You can go anywhere you want. You can go in between, but you keep going back to this time period that's already been established with all the characters who've been established. It's like you have the ability to go driving down the street, but you keep choosing to go drive into this brick wall. Like unless you're an Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which we know why they were put together. It doesn't make any sense.
And it's confusing. Just make the next movie. Why do we need to see a prequel and like, oh God, like make the next movie? I just can't get into it. And the thing is, it's like I've lost complete track of everything.
Yeah.
I don't even know what takes place when anymore in these movies. Well, it's just a mess. And I don't want to, I know someone can tell me, well, you can research it. I don't want to. I want to sit down in the movie and be like, this is part 2 or this is part 3. I don't want it to be like, I don't even like when they started to change around the way the numbering of movies work.
Oh, yeah.
It was Rocky, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, Rocky 5, then it was Rocky Balboa. And you're like, ugh, could have just said 6, but okay. That was the conclusion. And then it was Rambo. No, sorry. First it was First Blood. Then it was Rambo First Blood Part 2. Then it was Rambo 3, but there's no Rambo 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Right? Or 1 at least. And then it's Rambo.
Yeah.
And what the hell was this one called?
John Rambo?
Exactly. Like, it's so stupid. Like, why can't you just say, like, First Blood 1, First Blood 2, First Blood 3, and we know Dirty Harry was really awful because they don't even have names in it. It's Dirty Harry, then it's Magnum Force, and it's Enforcer, then it's Sudden Death.
Yeah.
Deadpool. No, Sudden Impact. And then it's the Deadpool. And not the Deadpool
Ryan Reynolds, not the Deadpool we know.
Well, even it's the other Deadpool.
Even 3. Yeah.
Yeah, something familiar would be interesting, but would be better.
Even 3 screwed up 4. Because if you watch Star Wars again, Obi-Wan Kenobi Senior, he makes 2 big mistakes. First of all, R2-D2's there. And he's like, I don't remember owning any droid.
Oh, I know. That's already messed up. Yeah.
R2 was all over the sequel. He was everywhere.
Right.
No. That was the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, he knows. So he's joking. And the other thing is, he's like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Obi-Wan. Now, that's a name I haven't gone back since, before you were born. Well, we saw Luke being born. He was still known as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I know. It's just little things like that it's like, why did you even bother? And like, C-3PO being constructed by Darth Vader is weird. Like, why can't he just be a droid? Like,
and then he wipes his memory circuits. So when he starts in Star Wars, he's like, I don't recognize, he's like, what a desolate place, blah, blah, blah. Like he's never seen it before. I'm like, you were a creator, but you got your, but why did we have to wipe his memory circuits? Like, that's just like.
They don't trust C-3PO. That's why they do that, because he blabs. They don't trust him. Yeah. Anytime there's a new owner, they wipe the memories. That's the way the droids are operated. So I'm okay with, I'm not okay with Obi-Wan not knowing R2.
Yeah.
Like when R2's memory wasn't wiped, why would he, like that was weird. And why I don't like the Jedi wearing the brown cloaks. I don't like it at all. And the reason they're wearing it is because that's what Obi-Wan wore in episode 4. But he wore that because he was in Tatooine and undercover.
I know.
If he's going undercover and he's in hiding, why is he wearing the Jedi robes? It's like, officer, how did you know I was a cop? Well, you're wearing a police uniform. Damn it, I'm supposed to be undercover. I'm supposed to be undercover. Damn it, I forgot. I'm still wearing my police uniform.
Well,
So Obi-Wan Kenobi may be the dumbest person in the galaxy. He's he's in hiding wearing the same clothes that he's always worn. And going by Ben Kenobi, because that throws me off.
It's
like Obi-Wan Kenobi. What? Who's that? It's like maybe it's Ben Kenobi. They have the same last name. Worst case, it could be his brother. Right? Like
Obi-Wan is just completely destroyed because of that.
Like Obi-Wan is a moron. Like he's looking for someone named Obi-Wan Kenobi. Well, maybe it's Ben Kenobi. Well, it's worth a shot since it's a weird last name.
Well, even Luke at the beginning, he's like asking Obi-Wan, he's like, do you know who Obi-Wan Kenobi is, Ben Kenobi? I'm like, why Obi-Wan?
Yeah, really, I know. C-3PO is one of my favorite characters. And check this. I don't know, Steve, did you get that? Did you download that one I sent you? The 3PO documentary?
Yeah.
C-3PO is a super duper important character. And I don't know if you watched that thing. Did you watch it or no?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
You should watch it like ASAP. It's like C-3PO is super important. He's really the only character you have in the first half an hour of Star Wars.
Yeah.
You only learn through him because R2 can't articulate anything. So because he can't articulate anything, the only person we have to rely on is C-3PO. And C-3PO represents the human's inner thoughts. That's what. So, like when Han Solo doubts himself, he never doubts himself in front of anyone, but C-3PO voices the doubt. It's like, sir, you can't navigate what's it called? Debris field or whatever, right?
Right.
It's like meteor, yeah. Because you can't navigate a meteor shower. It's like, oh, so it's like, but like anytime any human character doesn't want to express the fear of what's going to happen, C-3PO expresses it. And because we started with him, we're expressing, we're him. Right?
Yeah, like the audience is C-3PO.
The audience is C-3PO because we're saying, oh yeah, shit, you can't do that, can you? It's like, oh yeah, that's it. Because we don't know. Like this, we don't know what the odds are of successfully navigating through a meteor shower. Like we don't know. But like C-3PO is telling us, oh, that's a bad thing. Like without C-3PO, and if you had the same dialogue, you would literally not understand anything what's going on in that movie. Right? Because if it's just R2 squeaking, you're like, oh, I have no idea what's happening. C-3PO interprets what R2 says for us and then also gives the human side of it, right? Like it's very interesting with that character. I always liked him anyways, but very character and actually he's the only one that is like the realistic person out of anybody. Like he's always fearful of everything, but you should be scared, right? Like it's like, the Empire's after you, and then he's like, oh, we can surrender. And it's like no. He goes, surrender's a perfectly, valid option or something, right? But that's what they're thinking. They're like, oh shit, like it is something to think like, oh, maybe we should surrender. Well, no, we're not going to surrender. That's stupid, right? And even when like Han Solo shuts him up and pretends like he came up with the idea. Remember, he goes, sir, your computer is. Your ship is messed up, and he says to Chewie, he's like, "Oh, I think the thing's bad." It's like literally exactly what C-3PO had just told him. So it's really funny. It's really funny. When you watch it again, pay attention to C-3PO and what he says and what he does.
Okay,
it's very important. That's great.
Yeah,
they did forget that. They forgot that the droids are the narrators, and they're the ones. They start out pretty much every movie, it's them. In the last bit of Jedi, they're no longer useful, except C-3PO is, again, the only one who can communicate properly with the Ewoks. Finally, C-3PO finally uses what his program is for, which is to translate.
Mm.
He doesn't really use it until the Ewoks.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and Jabba, I guess. And Jabba.
And Jabba, right. Jabba, yeah. But it seems like Jabba doesn't need Jabba doesn't need the interpreter, but the other people that talk, it's like Jabba can speak all languages, but not everyone can speak the Hutt language because it's like he has to explain everything. Do you guys remember the old Star Wars PSA where R2 is doing drugs? I have no idea. We should ask Sean that. Sean is like a Star Wars expert.
Yeah.
I've never seen C3 or That's awesome.
Can you imagine?
How does he do them? He can't do drugs.
Maybe he's like RoboCop 2.
Oh, I love RoboCop 2. Kane is the best. I love that he's addicted to Nuke, and they picked a psychotic drug dealer who's addicted to his. You're not supposed to do your own drug, right?
Drug, yeah.
Yeah. He's addicted to his own stuff, and they made him RoboCop. Look, that's a Frank Miller script, right? Like, because RoboCop 2 is a bit insane. Some people don't like RoboCop 2. Those people are incorrect because it's great. It's really messed up too. Like the kid Hobbs
yeah.
or whatever. Is it Hobbs? Yeah, it's like he's a douchebag, and then he gets killed, and you're like, it's like, am I supposed to feel bad? I guess he's a kid, but it's so weird. It's like this big touching moment. He's dying, and I'm like, I guess it's still a kid. And then it's like, it's a product of his environment, and like that Kane guy was completely insane.
Yeah, that was a really, because until that point, I'm like, kill this kid, and then he gets killed, and I'm like, oh, this isn't as much fun as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I had that too. I was like, yeah, and then I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, okay, it's like, well, yeah, there's that. There's now coincidentally, there's him getting killed. And then what was the other one? And I don't have the. I had one of the famous. Maybe I'll upload that while we're talking. There's him getting. There's I think it's Hobbs. Is it Hobbs? Is the kid's name?
I think so.
It's like something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's that kid getting killed, and I've got here's the most famous one of all. Boom. That's Assault on Precinct 13.
That was messed up, man. That
was whoa, okay.
Whoa.
What if the prequels started with film 2 droids instead? I mean, they shouldn't have done the prequels at all. I don't even like having it called 4, 5, and 6. I never liked that. I liked that it was called. I liked Star Wars, and then they just give you the crawl, and they should have just called it The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. No 4, 5, or 6, and then just continue on from there. And if you want to have it where Luke, if Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, or Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford or whoever, if they don't want to come back, you just don't have them back. Don't ruin the characters and kill them. I mean, this is like a lot of petty shit where it's like, oh, we bring the guy back just to kill him in a stupid dumbass way. Like, I mean, and they could do it in funny ways. Like if in Friday the 13th Part 2, the girl who actually survived, the final girl from Part 1 who killed Pamela Voorhees, who killed Jason's mom, she survives. Jason grabs her in the boat and she wakes up, and it's like, oh, was it a dream? I don't know. And then you continue into Part 2, and then you find out that no, Jason is still out there. He kills her in the opening, and you're like, oh shit, that's it for her. I'm like, all right. But the part Amy Steele, which is the girl from Part 2,
Amy Steele
is the friggin' best. She's the best final girl. But anyways, and I'm just like, I'm like, that sucks. So it's just that's shitty.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
there's no need for the prequels, and they didn't do the sequels very well because it was just the original trilogy just rehashed badly. More or less. I don't know why they've like. I think you could go back to the Old Republic. I think you could go several years in the future. like you don't have to stay in that one point in time of Star Wars, but it's almost like they have no confidence in their own storytelling or in their ability to hook people with new characters. And they just keep going back to the same thing. Like Order 66, like the Bad Batch, it's interesting what happened to the clones because I sort of was wondering, but like, I mean, I don't know where they're going with this. Now that I've sort of found that out, I'm satisfied with what we have and I don't actually need any more. I just, the answer is like, oh, that's what happened after Order 66. They just got folded into the Empire and they'll stay that way until they ever get killed or whatever. Like, I just like, oh, I'm like, okay. And that's it. The thing that's kind of crappy though is that the Clone Wars did a really good job of building up the clones as actual characters.
Right.
And like, it felt very incomplete that Order 66 was the end of them. But like, at the same time, you have this entire universe that George Lucas has created. It's like Star Trek. Imagine if they just did Star Trek, the original series, and then the next Star Trek series was the events leading up to the original crew taking over the Enterprise. You'd be like, okay, are we just stuck with these characters now for like
Yeah, it's
all
garbage.
Star Trek stories?
I know, and the thing is that you have to continue it on. I don't like revisiting it. I certainly don't like revisiting it with different actors, and I certainly don't like revisiting it with different actors and having it be garbage.
Yeah,
it's like that. Like it's like the three sins of J.J. Abrams. It's like sin one, not moving the story forward. Okay, sin two, recasting like Kirk and Spock and McCoy. I mean, and some of them did great jobs trying their best to be that, but they're not Kirk, they're not Spock, they're not McCoy. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. And then the next one is like you made it crap. You just rehashed the same story arcs, except you made it worse. Khan, they just call him Khan. They don't say Noonien Singh, I guess, because obviously what's his name is not Indian, or he's not even appeared to be Indian, like East Indian or whatever. But in any, not that Ricardo Montalban was either, but they tried to at least say that, he was. He could have been a mix, right? Like, but they're just scared to do that because they don't want to piss anyone else. They just use Khan, which is still like a Muslim name, I think. So whatever. Anyway, and it's like, oh, now he's just all pissed off. Well, why is he pissed off? Like in Wrath of Khan, they're trying to recreate Wrath of Khan. Yeah, but Wrath of Khan is contingent on Space Seed. It's like because in Space Seed he felt he got screwed. Like in Space Seed, everything was good in Space Seed. Like they gave him Ceti Alpha 6 or 5. I don't remember the numbers. They gave him the Ceti Alpha planet or whatever, and he was like, okay, I'll make do what I can with my Supermen on this planet. And obviously it didn't go well, and the Federation never came back to check on the progress. All that bullshit happened. The planet got messed up. Khan's wife died. So Khan's like, oh my God, Kirk, you dumped us on this planet, took off and said F you, and then we got screwed. So I'm pissed off. That's the Wrath of Khan. He wants to kill Kirk because he blames him. What is the Khan purpose in Into Darkness? Like nothing. He's just a bad guy. And you're like, well, why did you ruin Khan? Like, I don't like. And then JJ's like, oh, I'm a fan of Star Trek. Well, you're kind of not actually, because if you were, that Ricardo Montalban is Khan, and there is no other. Like Benedict Cumberbatch is one of the greatest actors of all time. He is certainly, a different actor than Ricardo. He might be more versatile than Ricardo, but he ain't him. Like that guy brought himself like to that role in a way that no one's brought themselves to another villainous role like that. Like it's just a fail. And Chris Pine, it's like I like Chris Pine, but he's not Shatner. I don't like. No, you're not Shatner.
Yeah, that's definitely like roles they never should have recast.
Yeah,
like it didn't prove anything. It didn't go anywhere. Chris wanted to come back because he enjoyed hanging with the old crew.
Yeah, who knows? What Harrison Ford's weird. He came back for that, but that was a poo movie.
Is asking horrifying that Yeah, well, the problem is that like, where do we start with the sequel trilogy? Like, the problems are like numerous. Like, like I didn't want them back, to be honest with you. I didn't want them back. Their stories have been told, the arc had done. Like finding out that Carrie Fit, like Leia and Han Solo got married was, oh man, Ricardo
Yeah,
Malta,
he's
Madman.
awesome. Yeah.
He was great in Return to the Planet. Was it Return to Planet X? Which was the third one?
So he was in the very end of that, and then in the beginning of so the third one is Escape.
Escape.
The next one is Conquest, and he's a little bit in
Conquest.
the beginning of that. He's Caesar's like keeper or
Keeper,
protector
yeah.
or whatever. So he's the at the end it's like the little baby chimpanzee
Yeah.
or whatever. Um,
But
but I think that there's more Spy Kids after. There was more Spy Kids, but not with those two. Not with Junie and blah 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 Cortez. With she had like she
yeah.
had like that. I actually had memorized her name. She has like 10 names.
Yeah.
Like what's her face? What's the actress's name now? I forgot.
Alexa Vega.
Alexa Vega. She has like one of those long Maria Esperanza Cortez, and he's like Junie Cortez. It's like, wait, how come? How come she got this like 10? Well, her name was the password, right? At Machetes.
Yeah.
I didn't see Spy Kids 4, but I had the first 3 on DVD, and I saw Spy Kids 2 in the theater twice, and I had the Spy Kids 2 poster, the official one sheet poster. So very happy with that. I love Spy Kids. Yeah, so yeah, go ahead, Steve. So yeah, I mean,
well, sequel trilogy, the problems were numerous. Like the problems were rehash. They didn't. They put these characters on there, but they didn't really let them develop anything. Like Rey knew the Force within like a split second, it seemed, and then she was just a Force wielder, and that was it. Like I didn't even know the way she was like. She's like, oh, I want to train with Luke Skywalker, and I'm like, why? You've already exhibited you know how to use the Force better than I think he did in either Star Wars or Empire. So why do you need to train with Luke Skywalker? And then like Luke, like having Hannah and Leia, they got married. Well, I could have figured that out. They had a kid. Okay. And he turned bad. Okay. Like where are we going with this? What are we trying to like accomplish with this? Unless you're trying to ruin the original trilogy, which George Lucas, quite frankly, did a pretty good job of with all his subsequent special editions. See, we didn't really need, because I was talking again, like the scene where Jabba is in Star Wars makes no sense, because if you go back and watch it, Greedo is there as Jabba's emissary. He's talking to Han Solo. He's like, oh, I can get to my, he's like, go tell Jabba or whatever. And I'm like, or you could just go outside and he's right there. Like, why is Jabba there?
I know, I hate that.
It's stupid. It makes no sense. Like, why is Greedo walking in here now? Tell Jabba. You can tell Jabba that. Like, the whole thought was Jabba's not even going to get involved with this guy. He's beneath Jabba's time. He's going to send Greedo to deal with him because he's like, Han Solo's just an inept smuggler. You can deal with him and get my money. That was the whole point of the exercise. If Jabba's just hanging around outside, why the hell is he sending Greedo into the canteen?
Yeah, and he's got Boba Fett with him as though that's supposed to help us think it's cool. It's like, well, there's Boba Fett. Well, why doesn't he send Boba Fett to go get him in 1 second then? It's like that entire scene was taken out because they couldn't make it look right with the guy, and they felt that like, well, they've already established all this with Greedo, so there's no need. Exactly. That was the right thing to do. Remove that scene.
Why they back? Deleted scenes are interesting as a curiosity thing to say, what was originally in the film or what was one path they could have gone towards. Yeah. But I'm not necessarily a fan of adding deleted scenes back into movies, because the scene was generally deleted for a reason, right or wrong. It was done that. So unless you're doing something that, like, we failed with Daredevil, so let's do the director's cut where we add all the stuff the director wanted in there. Now, why the director just didn't have that in there in the first place, I don't understand. Because if you're not going to let the director assemble the film his vision was about, why did you hire that director? Could you imagine if Tarantino made a movie and they're like, "Oh, Quentin, we don't want this in there.
Yeah.
Why did you hire Quentin Tarantino?"
Yeah.
Like,
So no, exactly. If the director wants it, then that's something.
mhm.
But what about Alien? Like Ridley Scott literally likes the theatrical Alien. He's
Oh,
like, that
it's
is my
better.
cut. And then when they came out with the whatever anniversary, they're like, oh, let's do these extra bits. And he's like, okay, so I did a new version. And then it's like, well, is that the version you carry? He's like, no, the one that came out in theaters is the one I like. I'm like, why do we have this then? The same thing with Close Encounters. There's
Yes.
3 different Close Encounters and there's 5 Blade Runners, but
Oh God.
3 Close Encounters is outrageous. That movie is really cool. I really
Yeah.
like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I think it's a great movie. Why do we need 3 versions of it? Like the normal one is fine. Or there was that I don't remember. I just watched one the other night, like a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember which one I watched. I literally went on the internet. I'm like, what am I? And I think I just watched whatever. Maybe it was the director's cut or the anniversary something. There's one that was like came out that was like, no, we don't want this because it had all these extra bits in the ship and it was kind of bad or something. I'm like, I just give me the normal version. Like,
Yeah.
why is there so many of these?
Yeah, I've watched a director's cut recently, not that long ago, and
Of
I
what,
the
Close
only reason,
Encounters?
yeah, I have the one that has the 3 versions. I watched
Yeah.
the director's cut because I was very confused of what the hell I was supposed to watch. It's like Dawn of the Dead. We got 4 cuts of Dawn of the Dead with that DVD. I think we
Yeah,
both own.
yeah, it's 4 cuts.
I watched the theatrical one because I'm like, this is the one I think that George A. Romero wanted us to watch.
Yeah, I don't remember which is the one he wanted. The one I had on VHS was director's cut, so I watched that one because that's the one I'm used to.
Mm-hmm. But like with Close Encounters, I ended up picking the director's cut because I'm like, I assume by a director's cut, I mean Steven Spielberg wanted us to watch this version.
Yeah, and that's not true with Alien, though. That's what.
No, but well,
It's like he just.
the problem with Alien is like you find out like what happens to Dallas, but you're like, but I didn't need this. Like this is again one of those things where you're inserting it because you think the audience is stupid. Like he encountered the alien in the ducks. We know he encountered the alien in the ducks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to know. Well, what did the alien do for him? I don't know, took him out for ice cream? Like, I don't know. Like, what would the alien do? Probably kill him or impregnate him or whatever it did? Like, I think it impregnated him, right? Like, that's what it...
But it doesn't matter because everything blows up.
Yeah.
So even if it impregnated him, who cares? It's the alien's out the airlock and like the entire thing is destroyed. So whatever.
Like, yeah, I don't, and then like, well, Ripley kills him anyway. I think she does the flamethrower on him and Harry Dean Stanton's character.
She flames them.
Yeah, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, well, who cares? Exactly.
Exactly.
It was cool. Like you got to see them all cocooned, and we didn't see that. No one else got cocooned.
Right.
So it was like a new thing.
Right.
Right. But it doesn't matter because as far as you're concerned in that movie, it's over anyway, and they're not going to go back to it. They'll go back to it in the sequels. Yeah. So he doesn't get saved. So who cares?
Well, Aliens, they did the same thing. It's like they had an extra thing with her daughter, and I'm like, okay, like her daughter died while she was in the Nostradamus, right, or whatever.
Nostromo.
Nostromo. I knew it was something. Start with an N. Right, when she was in
the N-word.
Yeah,
it's an N-word. It's definitely an N-word. No, from Army of Darkness. Necktie, nickel.
So it's like, okay, so she's upset that her daughter, and they show a scene where she's crying on the bench because her daughter. I'm like, okay,
who cares?
But she's going to get over this and go on the mission. Like I'm
right.
This is like this is the Rambo game that Nerd talked about, where it's like, blah 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 blah. Do you accept this mission? No. Well, you have to, like, you can't play the game unless you hit yes. Right. It's the same sort of idea.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
She's not going to sit there and cry about her daughter. She's going to that planet, X, whatever the planet's name is. Yeah. She's going there. So who cares?
Yeah.
Actually, she looks worse because she doesn't care. It's like, I cried for 2 seconds about my daughter. Okay, I'm going on this mission. We all like Spy Kids. They're fun movies. Episode 8. Uh Last Jedi. No, that's episode 8, right? No, Last Jedi's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
It's bad, Skeptic. I was just telling your fiance about the Jabba scene. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't like that scene at all. Uh,
Theatrical.
oh yeah, I can tell you, the theatrical Superman 2 is the better movie overall, except for the Jor-El parts. If they could insert the Jor-El parts with the rest of the theatrical one, because the theatrical one has better line delivery.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime there's a scene where it's the same scene but the dialogue is different, or slightly the timing is a little bit different, the theatrical one is better, and
Yeah.
some of the words have been changed. Like in the Lester version, when Superman flies up to the window of the Daily Planet and he sees Zod and company all in there, he's like, "General, would you care to step outside?" And I just think that is so cool,
Yeah.
because Superman's like, he's outside floating. He's like, "Step outside, buddy. We're gonna take care of some shit right now." That was kick ass great.
Yeah.
In the Donner version, he says, "Haven't you heard of freedom of the press?" And I thought, that is the dumbest line ever. Why would you say that even? I don't even understand that. It doesn't make sense with the scene. Also, in the end, when he outsmarts the Kryptonian, the like Zod's people, and Luther's like, "Oh, I was with you all the time," and then he's like, "Too late, Luther. Too late." He says it better in the Lester one. He goes, "Too late, Luther." He's a little bit angrier, and then he calms down. He's like, "Too late, Luther. Too late." Right? Like he calms himself, and it's a little bit different. Yeah. So, but the scenes with Jor-El are killer good in the Donner cut, and the Donner cut has the turning back time again, which I never
Yeah,
liked, not even in the first one.
I also didn't like him blowing up the Fortress of
I
Solitude.
don't. I was just gonna say that as well. I don't like that at all. I think it's garbage. I think that's stupid. He's blowing it up because in the Donner cut, Jor-El gave his life force energy to give Superman back his powers. So if Jor-El's energy and the energy of the fortress is no longer operational, he doesn't need the fortress anymore.
Right.
So he just blows it up because he doesn't want anyone else to get it. But I don't like that. So I'd rather have it around. And the Donner cut is not canon because the Fortress of Solitude is back in part 4.
Yep.
So unless it's another one of those pesky continuity errors that we love or ignore, depending on we love or ignore depending on what we feel like saying is canon. I hate Superman's that was in it. Yeah, well, Brandon, what the hell's his say his name? No, Jor-El.
Marlon Brando.
I kept wanting to say Brando. Marlon Brando didn't want to come back or didn't want his scenes in there because of all the bullshit with Donner. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I like that. I like that too. I also don't like Lois Lane shooting. I don't like Lois Lane shooting Clark Kent in the Donner cut to prove that he's Superman because A, it's weird. What if she's wrong? B, she went out and purchased a firearm and got a license and took
I'm buying this gun to shoot my colleague.
Yeah, why do you want a gun, man? For home security? No, I want to shoot my friend who I think is Superman. Like, it's just weird. I mean, look, okay, so Metropolis, you could just say Metropolis is a dangerous place and she carries a gun to protect herself. But I don't like the idea that she's carrying a gun because why didn't she have it in the other one? So that's weird.
I thought that was very weird.
Yeah, that's weird. But I really like her. I like that she puts her own life on the line in the Niagara Falls thing. But I also like the way that he saves her again without revealing that he's Superman. And then he reveals it by falling he always pretends he's so clumsy. And then when he falls, she sees that his hand goes in the fire and she's like, "Oh, you're not hurt." And I kind of like that better.
I like that better too.
Yeah, I feel like he wanted to screw up. Like he's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that." And she's like, "Well, maybe you didn't want to with your brain or whatever, but you wanted to with your heart." And I kind of think that was a cooler scene.
Yeah, I like that better. I don't like her shooting him. I like it too because he was always like overacting clumsy to sort of show he wasn't Superman.
Yep.
But then his glasses go off.
Yeah.
And she can see clearly he is Superman.
Yeah, I like that too. And he straightens up and he
Yeah,
stands straight, and it's like, well, you know, let's go to. He's like, let's go to my place. That's great.
yeah, that's awesome.
Uh, yeah, I don't like the turning back thing. Yeah, so that's cool. I mean, I agree. I agree with the gun scene. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
That's true.
but he
But like,
fainted.
yeah, it's just she takes out the gun.
Right.
Like, if she was wrong, she just murdered someone.
It's just weird. Like I would never
Yeah.
shoot someone I know. Like it just seems that seems very weird. And that was a test. That was test footage.
Yes, it
You could
was.
see that they weren't on their best game in the acting department, and also they looked a little bit different. Their hair and makeup was
Yes.
slightly different.
I remember seeing that, like, a behind the scenes documentary where that was one of the scenes being shot in one of those vintage behind the scenes featurettes they
Yep.
used to do. They did that because they're like, and they had the voiceover where it's like Wolves and Clark go to Niagara Falls, and then like they showed that, and I almost thought it was like, that's weird, why she got a gun, and then like in Donner Cut you see it, you're like, oh, that's the scene. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I just don't like her shooting him. It's just weird to me.
It's too weird.
I was
It
just
gets
watching Superman Part One before I started the stream, so I was just at the part where they got robbed in the, or they didn't get robbed because she got her stuff back. But he's like, "You're gonna risk your life for like a lipstick, $10, and you know whatever." And she's like, "You just described the exact contents of my purse." He's like, "Oh, lucky guess."
You know what I love about 4 is the double date. I
Oh, that was
really
super
love the double
funny.
date.
Like, why would Clark agree to that? That was such a fiasco. He's like
I
going
know
back
it,
and forth.
yeah, it's just funny though. I love how they do that. So
Yeah, that was like such a that was super funny. Leave It Superman 2 feels darker. Yeah, I mean, well,
Superman,
they're one movie.
yeah. I mean, I feel Superman 2 is probably the best of the 4 in all, like, critically.
Yeah,
I feel 1 is still a bit wonky with the turning back time thing.
yeah, because
Um,
it wouldn't work.
yeah,
Firstly,
and I my personal favorite is 3, but I obviously understand that 3 is not really Superman. Like, it is, but it isn't. Um, so you know,
and he reminded me,
yeah.
and actually, this reminded me of another problem with the Donner cut. In the Donner cut, he rewinds time,
Mhm.
so that guy in the bar in the diner never did that.
That's true.
So when he comes back to teach him a lesson, he teach him a lesson how the guy didn't do it yet.
Yeah,
So now you're beating up someone, or he doesn't really beat him up, but he humiliates someone. He humiliated someone who did nothing.
it's Minority Report, right?
Right.
Where you're
Yeah, he knew
and
he
it was
was
Dick
going to do it.
Miller. Was it not Dick Miller?
Who gets beat up?
Yeah, the guy who confronts him in the bar. Isn't that Dick Miller from
Oh.
Gremlins?
No, no, it's not Dick Miller from Gremlins. Who is that guy? It's not Dick Miller. No, it's not. Yeah, it's not Dick Miller. Because it's like I know Dick Miller's face, and I know it's not that guy. So this is just a minute stake. Yeah, it's not him. Yeah, two and yeah, they're basically one movie. I know. It's supposed to be in the second film, but I don't like it at all. You can act. What I would do is I would re-edit 1 and 2 to make them one movie. Remove both turning back times, and just have him make it. Like he goes to save Lois, and he makes it. Like it looked like she's about to die, but somehow he just made it in time. Like he just flies and makes it. Yeah, like that guy didn't do anything to Clark at that point. So, were you searching, Steve?
Yeah, I don't know who it was, but it wasn't
Yeah,
him.
it's not him. It's not. Yeah, it's not Dick Miller. He's got like a somewhat kind of a face. He's kind of got somewhat of a Dick Millerish face.
Face. The problem with Dick Miller is he had that sort of face, right?
Yeah, And he's always like a schmuck. Well, usually he's a schmuck or whatever. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
I just finished watching. I watched Ocean's 8
Oh yeah. What'd you
today.
think?
Yeah, or I mean, like I realize the problem with certain heist movies. There's some that I like, which a couple of them are Bollywood heist movies, or like in Deep Space Nine, they did a heist kind of a thing, and the Oceans movies, Oceans 8, 9, what, I don't know what they are, 11, no, 10, no, 11,
11,
12,
12, and 13.
13. I think 12 was my favorite just because it was kind of weird. And
Yeah.
no one likes 12, so of course I'm going to now say it's my favorite just because I want to be different. But um, the problem with these movies is that I don't really care about the characters succeeding or not. And
Yeah.
this is the like so it's like she gets the women together to do the heist, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't care. Like, oh, you want to be rich? Okay, well, I guess so do I. Guess what? I'm not going to go steal from people to do it. So why are you stealing? Like, if you look at like some of the Bollywood movies, which nobody's going to know, but like Doom 3,
Yeah.
or Happy New Year,
Hmm.
or even in the Deep Space Nine, they did one, um, and they did a heist thing in Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi, right? Remember there was that
Yeah.
one, but in that one they were rescuing a prisoner. Like, I don't mind, it's like they're good guys. Like Deep Space Nine was doing it for a good cause. Like somebody was trapped, like somebody owed money and they were going to kill him. So they're like, oh, we have to get this money to save this guy's thing, but they weren't hurting anyone in doing it. It was like, it was a hollow sweet thing. It's hard to explain. You have to watch it. So that was cool. You're like into it, but with the women, I'm like, I don't really care if they succeed or not. So
Yeah.
I just don't care. And then the other thing is that Anne Hathaway twist where she was,
Yeah. That
that
was bad.
derailed it
Yeah.
because it
That
was
was bad.
okay.
Yeah. It was okay. Like Anne Hathaway joining the crew was a little bit much because then it was like, who else is joining now? Like, why don't you just have Richard Armitage join too? Oh yeah, he's not a woman, he can't join. But like, I don't know. Like it was okay. Like my dad really liked it, and he's the reason why I watched it. And I sat there and watched it. I was like, okay. Like I didn't hate it, but I'm not like, oh, I want to go back and rewatch this movie. Like I'm never
Yeah, I'm
turning
never
back to it.
rewatching it. And like the other thing too is that like Doom 3. Oh no,
No.
Doom 3 is a Bollywood movie. Doom. Dhoom. It has like Thief in it who does heists, who does like these grand scale big, thievery,
Yeah.
whatever, but he's doing it because, and the person he's robbing from was literally like, that guy literally forced his father to commit suicide, and like so it was like a whole thing. So you're with that guy, and I'm not with the girls. I just don't like. I'm not against them per se, but I just don't care. And then Anne Hathaway's like, well, she's supposed to be a super mega rich movie star. Why would she need to join up with them?
And
Like
she
it
was a
was,
little bit all over the place too. She was overused in that movie.
yeah. I don't know.
She was in it quite a bit, and I'm like, the character wasn't really that interesting that they had to keep
None of
going
them,
back.
yeah, none of them were interesting. Like they
No.
weren't actually interesting character. They weren't even caricature characters. Like they kind of were, but it's like, oh, she's a hacker, but that's it. Like
Yeah.
it's like the one, oh, what's her name? Rihanna was a hacker, and it's like, okay, but that's all her character is. It's like she's just, so it could have just been anybody.
Yeah.
Like where there wasn't anyone who was like there. Like you need to get like a bunch of personalities. There's no
Yeah.
personalities with any of them.
Well,
They're just
the heist movie is like it's right. Every time I saw the shirt this morning, I think I'd die.
what's your shirt? You wanna what's your
Yeah, it's the Vader
it's
like
Vader with all of his
yeah.
same as Steven Seagal.
Yes. Steven Seagal, my favorite facial expression of Steven Seagal is in Under Siege when he finds the captain dead and he puts the jacket over his face and he looks up at the camera. And it's literally like someone just told him the morning like news, like the stock exchange like figures. Like he looks absolutely disinterested in anything. It's
It's like, I think he's dead.
like like he looks up and he's trying to look like I guess intense and angry, he just looks like he's been told the morning stock figures.
So
It's terrible.
it's just like, oh, your stocks are down by a point. Yeah, it's like Superman 2 also had something which they never ever show anymore, which is in Superman 2, General Zod wins. He takes over the planet. So he's sitting around bored.
Yeah,
And you've always thought it's like, okay, you rule the world now. And when she's like sitting there, Ursa's like, she's like, you're a ruler of all you survey. He's like, and so I was yesterday and the day before. And then he's like, is there no one to challenge me on this planet? You know, and then Luthor comes in with his little bullshit.
yeah,
But it's like, I like that because it's like, now that he rules the world, well, okay, you rule it. Now what are you going to do? He just sits around all day, just like anybody else. It's like, what are you going to give him that he can't just take?
right.
Like, the whole point of a human ruling is so that I can control other people to get stuff that I want, right? Like, give me that, go get me some food. It's like, well, Zod can just go get anything he wants instantaneously. Like, it doesn't exert effort to do it. Like, I have to exert effort. Okay, if I wanna have a big, steak dinner, I gotta go buy the steak, cook it, season it, make the potatoes. And it's like, well, I just want my servants to do it. Well, I'm not rich enough to have any servants, so I can't just say, make me a steak sandwich. I can't do that. So that's the point. You get to a point where you're the ruler, you're like, I want a steak sandwich, and then someone goes and makes it for you. Yeah, but Zod doesn't exert energy to do it. He'll just go and just get
Yeah,
it. And it's like,
he's well. There's no value. Like, there's nothing for him to do. Like, he's conquered Earth. He's like, okay. The best is, do you remember that horror book I had about, like, they were talking about horror characters, but as if they were real, and saying like the danger and like what you should do.
oh,
And there
maybe,
was
yes,
that movie called Yog the Space Monster or something.
yes, yes.
And it always listed like desires, and it's like Yog wishes to conquer the world by destroying it. It is not known what the value of this approach is. There's nothing. You will.
Yeah, I remember you had this book and it's super funny. It's like, yeah, okay, Yog's going to destroy the world, and it's like, okay, there, I've destroyed it. At least Galactus needs the energy,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's like, yeah, I know. I remember you having that book, and it's sometimes like, see, at least, well, in Man of Steel, Zod is trying to terraform it so that he could turn it into a new Krypton,
Krypton.
which does make better sense that way, right? Like, as opposed to saying, "Oh, I'm just going to destroy the world." It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it actually called Yog an idiot, but it's like he's an idiot. But I gotta ask. So we had Superman, where like Hackman was going to basically cause a big enough earthquake to cause California to go into the ocean, so that he would own the property around the new beachfront property where California used to be. Then we had Superman Returns, where Lex Luthor wanted to create a new Krypton on Earth or something like that. Like, he was creating like a property from kryptonite or something. Like, it was like volcanic rock, but it was like kryptonite rock. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, sure.
And now we have Man of Steel, where Zod wants to terraform the Earth to look like Krypton. I have to say, what is Superman movies fetish with like real estate and forming new ground? Like, I don't understand why they keep going back to that same theme over and over again.
Yeah, I like at least that, like 3 and 4 broke up the plan of destroying some part of the world or destroying some sections, or it's like, yeah, Lex Luthor just wants to make money from the nuclear arms race.
Yeah.
And he's like, Superman's going to stop me, so I'm just going to send a guy after him or whatever. That would not be great if that happened, if it all fell.
No.
Doomsday versus Zod. Well, Doomsday fought in Krypton. Doomsday was coming, and Zod tried to control him in the Krypton TV series.
I feel like Doomsday versus Zod would just be the equivalent of Superman versus Doomsday. It would be the same thing, where they would probably fight to a standstill, or maybe Doomsday would would win barely, or maybe Zod would win barely. Like it, because Superman versus Doomsday ended the way it is, I think any Kryptonian characters fighting Doomsday, you could expect the same result, pretty much.
Yeah, because Superman was giving it his all at that point
Right.
in that book. It wasn't like, Superman usually holds back.
Mm.
Right? He doesn't fly into a situation and punch the crap out of someone and kill them. Like he holds back. So, but in the Doomsday battle, he was not holding back. So I
No.
would assume that Zod wouldn't even hold back from the get go. So it would probably end the same way. They'd probably just kill each other. Yeah, I think they'd kill each other.
Yeah.
Nobody knows why. Only the writers of Superman Returns can answer that. Like Non and Ursa. Yeah, so I mean,
if it's the three of them, then they win, because
there's
if
more of them.
Superman crushed Doomsday, but one of them would probably die, like in the resulting battle. I would assume like Doomsday would take out one of them. The problem too that people forget about Doomsday is he just comes back. Like he's actually indestructible. He'll come back, and you won't be able to kill him the same way. So ultimately, Doomsday would win any fight simply because he would come back, and however you beat him, unless you adapt it to, you're dead. He'll just come back and kill you because you probably didn't adapt, right?
You probably have to I don't know, throw him into the sun or something, and then hope that he doesn't get rebuilt or something. Like I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Superman will find a way to beat him. Like, is Zod as smart as Superman? No, but
Nope.
Superman didn't beat him through intelligence. Really, he just beat the crap out of him. So I would assume that Zod could do it as well because they're equal. And Zod's a tactician too.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't be holding back, so he might have an advantage over Superman against something like Doomsday.
Big tough guy in Superman 2.
That's
so
non. Oh yeah, in Man of Steel, he doesn't do anything.
No, he's a non-entity. He spoke in Supergirl season 1.
Yeah, and he was in, and they used Feora instead of Ursa. I liked Feora a lot.
Yeah, she was cool. I really liked her
in
too.
Man of Steel. I thought she was really cool. She's probably maybe my favorite character in that movie.
As a side note, before I forget, change my arena team, eh?
Oh,
so my arena team is now Symbiote Spider-Man, Kestrel, Silver Surfer, Doc Ock, Emma. Symbiote Spider-Man because he does.
Yeah, go ahead.
Invisible Woman is on defense, so I swap out Symbiote Spider-Man for Invisible Woman on defense.
Yeah, my arena team is Kestrel,
yeah,
Doc Ock, Emma, Silver Surfer, Invisible Woman.
Very cool.
And that's how I use that team to get rank 1.
Number 1, yeah, I saw that.
I find it BS that Superman's dad beat up a military commander. I don't remember.
That was the one thing I'll say about Man of Steel is that the destruction of Krypton was very visually impressive. Things like Krypton was just being destroyed pretty
good.
Pretty good in that one. It gave a much more visceral demonstration of the destruction of Krypton. So I think that was something that it did really well.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Jor-El in that was Russell Crowe, and he's a scientist. Him beating up a military commander is weird to me. But I don't recall the events because I have literally not seen Man of Steel since the theater. So
I saw it after the theater. I don't remember exactly. I know he had some weaponry with him though as well. He was more on the defensive, I thought, but I could be wrong. I know he was he's trying to save Kal-El, right? Like trying to get him on the ship or whatever. So I don't remember exactly how that went down. But did Zod what the hell happened? Yeah, because was Zod attacking Jor-El? Was that what was going on?
I feel like he went to Jor-El's home.
Yeah, maybe.
at one point. I feel like he was there and he was trying to convince him to do something, but I can't recall the event.
Yeah, because if you're a military guy, like you don't mix. That was the thing with the Kryptonian society. There, it's like you're a military guy or you're like a science guy. Like you're not really. So like the science people can't really do anything
Right.
if in a fight against a mil. Like Zod should technically be the best fighter, tactician, like that. He should be the best out of anybody in that entire thing.
I agree.
Um, yeah, for sure. That all that stuff was like super cool. Yeah, he was trying to
Yeah.
stop Kal-El. Yeah, they didn't like that he was leaving or whatever. Now, in one, I just watched a Superman thing the other day. What the hell was it? Where it was all of them trying to get in the ship together and they couldn't, so then they just send Kal-El. I can't remember. It wasn't just built for Kal-El to go. It was built for all three of them to go. But then something happened and they couldn't. Like they literally couldn't get in time, and Jor-El's like, "Shit, I just got to hit this. I just got to start the thing and go, and at least Kal-El will be safe." So I mean, I don't mind like changing around little things like that here and there to make things a little bit more, make sense. I don't know if it was in a comic. I don't remember.
That
There's
sounds
too many.
familiar for some reason. Maybe it was like Superman the animated series or something like that.
It could have been one of those. Yeah, it could have been like maybe Man of Tomorrow or something. I liked that one. Oh, I watched Son of Batman
Oh yeah.
just the other day. I'm going through, so I realized that I haven't seen. I was keeping a checklist of the DC animated stuff that I had seen. I own it all, but I was keeping a checklist of what I had actually watched, and then I hadn't gone back to that checklist in so long. I'm like, holy crap! There's like 20 I haven't seen.
Yeah.
A lot of the Batman ones because they make a lot of Batman ones.
Sean
I
was
had
just
to go back.
complaining about that actually. He said like I didn't know that Batman ran the DC like
Well, he certainly does.
animated one. Um
I thought it was
so
pretty cool.
yeah, it is. It's not bad. Like the last one I watched was Gods and Monsters, which is very different. That's the one where the Man Bat, like the scientist who's Man Bat,
Right.
um, Lindstrom.
I don't know. I don't remember the name.
Anyhow, the character in it, he is actually Batman, but he's like a vampire bat. Um, and Superman and and Wonder Woman are in it too, but they're different too. Like they're not the same versions of the ones we
Right.
know, but they're still Superman and Wonder Woman. It's like an Elseworlds thing. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I
Um,
have it.
yeah, it's not bad. Son of Bat, like Damian Wayne, when he first came in, I couldn't stand him. I could not stand Damian. Like he's like, oh, this and that. I'm like, who is this punk kid? But I grew to really like him over time.
You got to make them different. You can't.
Yeah,
It can't always be like there's the one. There's like Dick Grayson's the sort of like not generic because he's the first sidekick basically, but like
the good son.
the good son. He's good. He follows orders and he helps out. And everything's great and perfect and everything's nice. Then they're like, it's like Doctor Who. They're like, okay, the next Robin, we got to make it complete opposite. He's just a jerk. Doesn't just goes off on his own, does whatever he wants to, and he meets a bad end. Then you got Tim Drake, who's a little bit more like, because he's a more modernized version of this, he's a bit smarter with how, and he goes off on his own and he learns different disciplines and stuff and all that. And, he's a bit, it's just a different take. And then the next one is like, well, we can't have that again. We have to be like, Damien's already good. That's why it's hard for him to learn a new way. He's been with the villains this whole time.
Yeah.
So when he shows up with the heroes and Batman say, no, we don't kill, we don't do this, he's like, well, why? That's stupid. Right? Because
Yeah.
he's been raised as a villain pretty much. So
Yeah.
that was cool. They made them all unique. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember the Man Bat scene from Thingy. I was watching a video today where they're talking to Jim Carrey. This is a new video I watched, but it's an old video where they're talking to Jim Carrey about Riddler in Batman Forever, and he had to lose 20 pounds to get into that Riddler or to so he's like a skinny punk. Yeah,
Yeah.
I still like Damian.
Yeah.
Yep, he probably will. Oh, it's good. Sean, hey Sean, how's it going?
So,
Sean O'Mac.
Did you see the two? Are you caught up on Bad Batch? Because I'm not.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
episode 3 is awesome, man.
Oh, awesome. Okay, good. I'll watch those
It's
this week for
wicked.
sure. Yeah, I'll watch those
Yeah.
this week for sure. I watched a
Yeah.
lot of Forged in Fire, so I'm all caught up on Forged in Fire now. So I got one more episode of that, and I started The Prisoner. I'm on episode
Oh,
4.
yeah.
No, I'm on episode
Yeah.
5 of The Prisoner.
What's up, Skeptic?
Yeah.
Damian switching Zazas from Injustice 2 was so stupid. I gotta be honest with you. Most of Injustice was kind of stupid. I can't get into it. Like,
I read most of the comics. Like I can't remember how many of the years because it's by year.
yeah,
I was like, let me give this a try, and it's pretty much what I thought it was.
yeah,
Just grimdark, because they have to get to. It's all the stuff that happens that leads up to the game, so
Yeah.
they have to get there. So it's all a bunch of out of character grimdark nonsense.
Yeah.
I guess this has to end badly, and it's like goes on from there.
Well, Superman kills
Yeah.
the Joker,
Subsequent-
I think, because he kills
Yeah,
Lois.
yeah. Well, that's the initiating thing.
And then, like, Superman loses it.
Well,
and
no.
then-
Do you know how that happens? It's like Joker basically he nukes Metropolis,
yes.
and so Superman then flies Joker into space and to kill him, but then it turns out that that's really Lois, and then he
Yes, he
he
tricks him.
thinks Joker.
Yeah.
So that's how Lois dies. So then he impales Joker with his
Joker.
hand.
Yeah. I don't know. And then, like, in Justice 2, Superman is incarcerated after part 1, but then Brainiac's coming, so they sort of, it's one of those, like, Days of Future Past where they let him go because he can beat Brainiac, but it's kind of like, it's the same as Magneto. Like, why are you saving Magneto to fight someone? Because Magneto's just going to become the bigger threat anyway. And that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, like, I just couldn't get into it. I don't understand this fetishism of Superman has to be the villain, which we saw in Zack Snyder's Justice League, we saw in Injustice 2, and I'm sure we've seen it in other, like, there was that one where Superman creates the Superman robots.
Yeah.
Right? I forget that storyline, but he creates the Superman robots to
What
govern
story is
Earth.
that? Because he's always had those. So.
No, but it's like they become like a military force for him.
Oh yeah.
And
Superman represents mistrust of authority right now.
Yeah.
and has represented that for a good 20 years now, where Superman being the authority and you can't trust him because he has all this power. And that's a new development. Superman hasn't represented that like before. I mean, he was optimism in the 50s. He was like sort of the sexual politics in the 60s and 70s between him and Lois. He dies in the 90s, but so yeah, I mean, and now it's like we can't trust him because he's like not one of us, and he has all this power. If you had all this power, wouldn't you like take over the world? Wouldn't you? Well, no. I mean, my lazy ass loves to watch TV. Why would I want everyone to hate me and to be constantly pursued all the time? I don't think people understand what power is. If you have superpowers and you can do anything, that still doesn't mean that you're at peace. You can bring about that peace, or you can wage war against everyone and always be at war. it doesn't make any sense if you have all this power that you would be an asshole about it and try to take over the world. It doesn't make. It's like Superman 2 answered that question. Zod is bored. He's a megalomaniac and he's a narcissist. So he takes over the world, and there's no other challenge for him. He's like, as I was yesterday.
I just said this.
Yeah,
like half an hour
okay,
ago. I
sorry.
did that. No, half an hour ago, I just redid that entire scene
Yeah.
the same way you're doing it. And so it was yesterday and the day before.
Yeah.
Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me? You know, and then
Yeah.
Luthor's like, hey.
Well, like I feel like that whole thing was basically some writer sitting down saying, "What if Lex Luthor was right?" Because Lex Luthor's whole thing was at one point that Superman has too much power and he's not human, right? I thought that was the whole idea behind post-crisis Lex Luthor. So I feel like that's some writer sitting down saying, "Well, what if Luthor was right?" And then, but it's just been a constant like thing I've seen over and over again now in loops, and I'm like, why are we just like assuming that Superman's just going to like take over the world and become the villain?
And well, he's not.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have killed Lois in that Injustice because he wouldn't have killed Joker.
Yeah.
So it's like and we've answered this question in other comics like Kingdom Come, which is an Elseworlds thing. And Kingdom Come, he doesn't go around and kill everybody. He's just like, well, he exiles himself because he's like, the world doesn't want me around anymore. Instead of enforcing his will on everybody, because he easily could. Look, he could defeat Magog and all those loser heroes in 1 second, right?
Yeah.
But he's disheartened. He's like, you know what? The world doesn't want to, see it my way anymore. I guess I'm not really wanted. And he leaves and goes to the Fortress of Solitude and remakes it look like it's like the farm and just hangs out there. Yeah. And it's like that's more of, well, even that I would think Superman would still try to do something. I don't think he would give up.
Well, in the Crisis, I think it was it Superman 95 or something like that? He kills the Phantom Zone criminals in that alternate Earth where the Phantom Zone criminals have taken over the world and killed everybody in an alternate universe.
In an alternate world.
And Superman sentences them to death by exposing them to kryptonite and kills them. But then after that, he's not like, yeah, I killed him in crotch chops or something. He flies off into space and exiles them. And it's a whole story arc of stuff, after that, right? So he feels so bad about that. He kills, but like he doesn't like it,
Well, and if there's alien threats, he's not going to go in there to kill automatically.
No.
But if it gets rough, then he's got to do what he's got to do. But he's not going to be happy about it or whatever. And he's certainly not going to kill a human being. Like, he's not going to. He could literally just kill Lex Luthor anytime he wants and hide it. No one would ever know, and that would be the end of it. But he's not going to do that. It's mostly like world threat things. Where it's like I could kind of I don't know. I would be close to accepting that he would kill Zod if there was no other choice, but it was just I don't know, just the way they did it was weird. But
theoretically, he kind of does kill Zod in Superman 2.
Yeah,
we don't know what those pits are. It's like I guess
we don't know what the
pits are.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, we don't know. Like there could be something underneath. Remember, in Superman 2, when he goes back to the Fortress of Solitude, it's in order to drive the villains away from the city, which they're destroying.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of time ahead of them. So when he gets back there, he sets up the fortress to have all of these traps, and he could teleport, and he could do all these things. He could project his image. Yeah. So and he set up the fortress so that the red rays of the Kryptonian sun would shine outside of that protective case, whereas earlier in the movie it was only
inside.
Right?
Yeah.
So he set all this up. So he may have set up stuff like, if they fall, they're going to be captured and thrown. He might have flown back and collected them and put them back in the Phantom Zone, right? For all we know.
Yeah, I like that take it in All-Star Superman where Lex Luthor does get the powers. And he's about to go crazy and then but he realizes all sorts of different things in the way Superman sees the world and he's humbled by it.
Yes.
Rather than, and it's like we've never seen that take before. That was great,
I absolutely love All-Star Superman.
Yeah.
All-Star Batman is horrendous garbage, but All-Star Superman, is
Yeah.
bloody amazing. The cartoon is great. I've watched it like 4 or 5
Yes.
times, and
The animated movie.
and the I bought it in trade because I didn't get the original issues.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have the original issues of that, but I have the trade. It's
Yeah.
actually 2 trades, I believe. It was 2
Oh,
trades
wow.
because it's like
Yeah.
a 12-parter.
It was 12 parts, yeah.
Yeah, so I did.
But I
the
didn't
2
think they would like split it up into.
They did volume 1, volume 2. So for better or worse, that's what I have. And that was awesome. Like, because Lex Luthor just basically is like, wow, this is crazy. It's like you could see different shades of through the spectrum, and you can see molecules if you want to zoom in or whatever.
Yeah.
You can see
what everyone's made of, and it's all the same thing.
Yeah, it goes, we're made up of the same particles and all that, and you're like, this is so
and this
cool.
is what Superman sees every
Every
day.
day,
Yeah.
all the time. And he's like, wow, like this is crazy. And it's like, exactly, Luthor, you could have always been the good guy. You could have always helped humanity. You chose not to.
Yeah.
It's like, don't pretend it was because of me or whatever, you know? And it's like, exactly. I like when people win by outsmarting them, even with Superman versus the Elite, because even in that storyline, which we reviewed, right, Sean, the comic of it.
Yeah.
And well, the comic's not called it's not called Superman versus the Elite. I don't know.
No, what's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American
What's so
Way?
funny about Truth? Right, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys can find that video somewhere in my thing. And but the cartoon version of that was the Superman versus the Elite. Yes. But even that was good because he still beats the crap out of everybody. And then it's like, oh, you see Superman, you don't give a shit about anybody. He's like, no, nothing. None of this really happened, right? And it's like I could have easily have done all of this, but I didn't do it, right? Or it's like, so it's like even that was handled better. So you could handle it that way too.
Yeah.
Like Superman versus the Elite, they should just make that movie.
People have been screaming for that to be the treatment, and it's funny because I think that Superman versus the Elite animated movie is heralded as the best Superman animated film they've made. Because the thing is, Superman stories, like, no offense, I know that you love Superman comics, but Superman stories are not really as celebrated as Batman stories. And there are a lot of great Superman stories, but people tend to love the retellings of the origins or stories about his last days, like spoilers, like All-Star Superman. And the thing is that, like, there are a lot of great stories too, and I've heard that what's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way is overrated, because they made this movie and stuff. But it's a great story to tell, and it's a great reminder of what Superman is all about, you know. And it's only one issue, and they made a movie about that. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it's a fatter one though. I think it's a fatter one.
Yeah, it was
double size, maybe
double size or something, extra size. But like they can sub in like another character or something like for that, you know.
No, they can easily do the Elite, and you can go a little bit more into Manchester's backstory, because like they show it very, very quickly in the cartoon. It's just like, you know, here's this thing.
Yeah.
They could open up the movie with that as them being kids with the sister and everything.
But it could easily have been like Gog or someone, right?
That is true too. There's a great story I read where Gog, it was Gog, not Magog from Thingy. Yeah. It was Gog, and he had captured Superman, and he basically like had him like chained up, and he's like, I'm never letting you go until you admit that you're wrong, or I don't know, something like that. And literally Superman wore him down. Like he just wore Gog down, and Gog's like, all right, you know what, you're right. And then he let him go. I'm like, this is the damn best. And that was Superman without doing any fighting. I don't know what issues it was. I bought it in a trade as a random. Sometimes I would just go to the shop and be like, oh, this looks cool, and just randomly buy a Superman thing. I never randomly buy anybody but Superman.
Yeah.
But I just randomly bought this. I'm like, oh, this looks cool. And, you know, and I'm like, this is so cool. And it's like they could have easily, I don't know what issue it was just issues of a you know, it was like a 2 or 3 issue thing in one of the Superman titles.
Yeah.
And it's like so easy to just do that. Like it's
I'll just say this last thing about Superman stories. I've always loved Justice, the Alex Ross story that no one seems to talk about.
Yeah, Justice.
But Justice is great. It's like his love letter to the classic designs, and it's sort of like a superpowers tribute too. But basically, it's the villains gather together and project themselves across the world and say, like, we are going to do what the heroes have been unwilling or unable to do. We will solve world hunger. You know, everyone will have the best medical care, and all that. No, we'll use our powers now to do all this for mankind because we live here too, and and whatever. So the heroes are like, what the hell? And so they do all of this, but of course it's all a scheme from Brainiac to like implant shit in people and stuff. I've always thought that would make a great Superman movie story, in that like it's sort of like Superman 4 Quest for Peace. Like, why wouldn't Superman just do all this shit for us?
Right.
And then an alien comes in, it's Brainiac, but no one knows who he is. And he's like, listen, I'll do all this for you, in exchange for maybe some energy for my ship, and it's like, I'll solve all your fucking problems. You don't have to do a damn thing. And humanity is dumber for it, and then it results in some sort of like cataclysmic event that Superman has to thwart. That would be something. It's very easy to come up with Superman stories. I don't know what's hard about it. Like, and it's Warner Bros. has overthought and overthought and overthought this, and it's disappointing. And this is a character that has been continuously published since what, 1938?
38.
Yeah, or 39. Yeah, it's like
it's 38. I think it's 38.
It's 38. I think, right?
Yeah.
And it's like since 1938, it's coming up on 100 years of continuous stories across multiple titles, and TV shows and movies. And I think literally, this is not hyperbole, I think there are 1,000 or more episodes of the radio show. So it's like there are gazillions of stories. What's hard about this? I don't see it.
Well, it's embarrassing, right? Like there's a whole bunch of Superman adversaries who should have already been given the big screen treatment,
right?
Who have not been. And it's just like, where's the Brainiac movie? Where's the movie with Metallo in it? I would love to see Cyborg Superman. I would love to see Bizarro.
Yeah, all those.
But we don't get that. Instead, now they're treating Superman saying, okay, let's just make him black. I'm like, okay, cool.
It's just a series of parables now. It's like, okay, one of you black, and he fought the Klan. It's like, oh, sure, I guess. But like, where are my fun Superman stories?
Well, Warner Brothers just has no respect for the property, which is ridiculous, because then they'll sit down and like,
you hear that?
Take a drink every time Warner Brothers screws up a movie. Like you'll be like, yeah.
Muzzle off.
It's just embarrassing, because how many versions of the Joker have we gotten? How many, versions of the Riddler are we going to get now? Two-Face. We've gotten two versions of Two-Face.
I love Batman, but I am Batmaned out. I'll watch and consume all Batman things, but I think it's ridiculous, the amount of Batman stuff, because sometimes I'm like, well, why wouldn't this be a Superman cartoon then? Or why wouldn't do we need another Batman freaking cartoon? Like, why wouldn't this be a Superman thing? It's like they make gazillions. I can't keep up with the amount of animated movies that they make. And sometimes they give other things a chance. Like right now, there's that Justice Society. That's awesome. But
yeah, I got that.
But 9 times out of 10, it's Batman. It's like a Batman moves his dream home. Batman takes a vacation.
Halloween they're doing.
Yeah,
Halloween is next. Plants vs. I don't know. I don't think that's happening for sure. I don't think that's happening anymore. Maybe Man of Steel 2 would happen. I don't know.
So explain yourself about All-Star Batman.
Well, he literally beats up Robin and he just treats him like shit. And you're like, what is it? What is happening here? It's literal child abuse to Robin. You're like, why is that happening in this? And it's supposed to be all rough and it's like, I think Frank Miller did it. I'm not sure. Someone, we can look it up or whatever, but like, it's like, why are you trying to make it like all gritty? And it's like, oh, but it's gritty in a stupid way. There's a big gap of no films for most of the 2000s.
The only Superman movie in the 1990s was Steel.
Heroes don't come any bigger.
Yeah, yes.
That was the tagline. Dark Knight, feel the oversaturation. Yeah. Is that what I'm saying?
I think that's what
Dark Knight the movie, or Dark Knight Returns the comic.
Dark Knight Returns. All of a sudden, I like Dark Knight Returns, but it's not the be all and end all of Batman. It's like somebody read Dark Knight Returns and they thought, oh, it sold really well, and they're like, it made Batman a bit tougher and everything, and it's like, okay, and then all of a sudden it's like, and I like Dark Knight Returns. What do you want? And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, "Well, Dark Knight Returns is the only Batman there is, and everything should come from that." It's like there are other Batman stories.
I think
right?
for its time when it came out in like the mid '80s. It looked like the next level of comics back then. It was like, oh my god, like he's got like Reagan in this thing. It's like, and it's talking about all these big issues, and it's like, and it looks like different philosophies come in, like, colliding and stuff. It's not just like it's the better version of Batman versus Superman, because it's like, Superman is fighting for like the president and everything, and he's become a stooge, and then that unfortunately typified the character years after. And Batman is the little guy that comes up with all these different plans, and like and teams up with what's his name, Green Arrow and stuff to combat him, and has this big speech that everyone loves, and they quoted that when they were announcing Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. They quoted him like, I want you to remember this and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was awesome for its time. I think it's rode that wave ever since, because if you were to publish that comic now, it's just like anything else, right? But for that to have like come out back then looked like, the future, come to life in the mid '80s. It was
and the way it was like those, I don't know if they still call them the Prestige formatting, where it's like it was a bit fatter, and it looked like, if you ever bought not those really thick trades, but if you buy like the smaller trades where it might only be 3 issues together or something, it's like those thinner ones. If it was, and you're like, wow, this is like, it seemed a lot cooler. Now I don't have those original ones. I didn't read it till it got collected. Forget that. So people were just like, holy shit, like this is like crazy. So that's why that just got so much buzz.
I read the trade paperback when I was 15, and I was blown away then. I was like, this is awesome, right? And it's the kind of thing, like back then comic books weren't as mainstream as they were today. It was still tough to make a movie and stuff. And I was like, they should make this and blah blah blah, and then of course, and they had a little peek of it in Batman the Animated Series, and I was like, oh my god, they should just do that, and blah, and now we have an animated movie, and we have depictions of that bat armor and everything, and I'm good. I don't really need a movie.
I don't need more than the animated movie is all I need.
That was good enough. Done.
I'm good with that. I don't need any more. I don't need any more.
It's the same as year one. We have Batman year one. We're good.
Yep. That was a good
they made that year one movie. It's like 60 minutes or something.
I liked it.
It's good enough.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Returns, I'm not sure which Returns. Not Batman Returns. I love Batman Returns.
No, I think he's Dark Knight
Returns. It's what's funny about Dark Knight Returns is that everyone forgets the lesson of that comic. It's that, like, when I know we're gonna get into a debate, but like when Dark Knight Rises came out and it depicted like a Batman who like forsook Gotham, and it was like, Batman would never do that. It's like, well, your favorite story, Dark Knight Returns, he's returning from abandoning the city. So
that was after doing it for decades. In the movie, see, this is the thing. This is the problem that they always have. They always want to introduce this stuff into the movies. I know, but this was introduced in the comics after Batman had been a comic for 100 years. Well, he'd been a comic for 40 years.
It was the theoretical future. Yeah,
it's a theoretical future. So he had given up, or he had stopped because he was an older man, and he's like, okay, I'm done. All the villains are gone. And that's the thing. And it's like doing it as a third part in the movie where it's like, yeah, but you were just Batman. You gave up right now. Like you're like, it's like, I just watched the last movie. You were Batman, and now you're not Batman anymore.
Was there supposed to be a time jump or something of like 10 years or something like that? Or I can't remember.
Anthony always says it's been like, 8 years in between those movies or something like that, where he's.
I don't care enough to revisit that film to figure it out.
I can't get into that one. Although I'm gonna try to rewatch it. I was gonna watch Batman Begins today, and then I watched The Prisoner, which I'm just dying over. It's like so good. It was a reach of Superman 1 and 2. Its own spin into
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. Yeah. So it's a bit of Star Trek.
Yeah.
No, I meant Superman.
Superman Returns is
Superman Returns. Yeah, because Superman Returns.
It's garbage.
Yeah,
Superman
everyone keeps saying
Returns.
that's supposed to be the Christopher Reeve continuation, but it's not. So
It's not. It's not the same attitude or anything. And it has one of the worst. I'd have to watch it again to see what the circumstances. But it's one of the worst villain setups of all time. Villain.
Sean, you cannot rewatch it, man. Like I would
I
not
tried to a few
highly
years ago and I
recommend.
turned it off. It's lifeless and
Oh, it's horrible.
motionless. It's really I can't believe someone signed off on that script. Like an exec was like, "Oh, what a great take!" It's like the villain said. It's the
Terrible.
movie literally starts with Lex Luthor having an old lady sign away her will to him, and he doesn't even kill her. It's just he's hunched over her bed, it's like sign here in duplicate, and then she signs like okay, Mrs. Walker or whatever her name is, and then he walks away, and the family's like oh, and that's your Superman villain. That's a Murder She Wrote villain. Like forget Superman, get Jessica Fletcher in here, man. It's what is going on? Can you imagine Doomsday rampaging through the streets and he stops at the hospital like, hold on, and he goes in and he's like, Miss Fletcher, sign here, please, sign here in duplicate, and then Doomsday will walk away and like, I'm the ultimate super villain, I'm the ultimate Superman villain. How in hell did this script get a green light? How are you a Superman villain? You convinced an old lady on her deathbed to sign away her will. You're a big threat to Superman. What a stupid movie. Anyway.
yeah, no, I thought that
Paging
was
Digital
so.
Lansbury.
I thought that was so dumb too. It's like when he
That's
stole her
bad.
money, I thought Lex Luthor stole some old lady's money. It's like, well, I could also do that.
But why
You'd be a
explain why
Superman
he
villain.
has all that stuff? You remember the scene in the 1978 Superman movie
Yeah,
where they
he just
explained
has
why he
his
has an
underground
underground layer? No,
Yeah.
I don't remember that, and I was fine with that.
Yeah, because it's like he got it somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great layer, by the way. It's got a
That is
library and a freaking pool. It's awesome.
It is an awesome. Like I was watching Superman before I.
Yeah.
The very last shot I saw was him swimming in the pool.
Yeah.
And then she's like,
That
"Oh,
should have been a Kenner playset. That would
with like the door can break through and Superman can come
and just
through the
outside
door.
the door is the torture area where he gets like the fire and all that stuff. Yeah.
And you could put water in it and it squirts actual water out.
Yeah.
That would
They
have
should
been
have
cool.
totally done that.
And then he could break through the wall. He's like,
Yeah.
my attorney will be in touch with you.
We'll be charging you for the bill for that door, man.
And then he's like, oh, just take the gentleman's cape. And he's like, I don't think he wants me to, Mr. Luthor.
I don't think he wants me to, Miss Luthor. Yeah.
Ned Beatty,
Andrew, what's going on, brother?
I'm still trying to get over to Murder She Wrote reference. I just, it's bad,
We're
man.
doing good. We're doing good.
It's bad. Yes.
Yeah, Steven.
Yes, I do. Superman comes by here. I'm going to get him, and then I'm going to make an old lady give me all her money. That's my plan,
God, that
man.
was so lame. I couldn't take it. I'm like,
yeah, it's pretty bad, and it just gets even worse. Like Superman's roaming around, and he's like, "I heard Krypton might still be around." Like,
yeah, what a dumbass.
what are you talking
That was
about?
just a bad conceit to begin with. That's
Let me
what
go
the
check.
whole thing is based on. Yeah.
Let me go check and see if.
Let me see if all the rumors are true. Did it actually go up?
Yeah, it turns out my father didn't lie to me.
Yeah, why would that crystal lie to him? It's like supposedly there's a whole bunch of stuff cut out of the movie where Cal Penn fakes it somehow, but it's like why? If you have to like explain stuff and the explanation is your story, then you're doing something wrong. Like this isn't a proper Superman movie.
Oh, it's just awful, man. It's awful. From like I rewatched it because it came in that big blue pack, that anniversary pack.
Yeah, the
silver pack. 30 years of Superman, and I rewatched it, and I'm like, my God, this is so bad. It is unwatchable, in my opinion. I will probably never watch it again. I can't. Like, I value my life too much to revisit that movie, man. It's just awful.
Yeah, and then while he's gone, Lois writes this big Pulitzer Prize winning thing about how we don't need Superman. It's like Okay.
Way to reinvent the character, Mr. Singer. Why,
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
so
Yeah.
smart. I agree with you, Lois. We don't need Superman. All right, guys, let's go get our money back from this movie. Like, why would you make fun of you? You know, movies do this all the time, and some of them, it's like where they just can't help it. They can't help but poke fun at the concept in some way. And it's a Singer thing with the yellow tights of Wolverine. And he's like, "Would you prefer yellow spandex or something?" It's like, "Oh, so you're telling me I shouldn't read the comics because that's what Wolverine's wearing right now, you
Yeah.
dumbass." And it's like, you want me to buy comics, right? It's like, okay, well then I'm not going to buy them. And all these toys that just came out with your movie, nobody's buying the movie versions because it's all black suited characters. It could be the same mold. It's like all of the characters that people are buying are the yellow suit Wolverine, but you're telling me I'm an idiot for liking that. Like, it's like, why would you even say, why is that line necessary? Like,
Yeah.
just be like, here's the X-Men uniform. Thank you, Cyclops. Or Wolverine's like, I don't do uniforms because I'm just a badass. Then that's it. That's either one of those two. Or if he puts on, he's like, fine, I'll wear it, but I'm not going to get used to this uniform thing. Just to let you know, that there's your line. Like, I'm making these up right away. You don't say, well, what would you prefer, yellow spandex? Like, well, did he say he preferred that? Like, it's literally, that line is literally there to make fun of the fact that Wolverine wears yellow, and it's like, why would you do that? Like, it doesn't further the plot. So, and it's that kind of attitude where it's like, oh, what's with that cheesy cape, or why is this, why do you have to make fun of the thing that you want me to invest in this, right? Like, I'm not going to invest in it if you're telling me it's garbage while I'm watching it. You're basically saying we're a bunch of idiots, for liking it. It's like, oh, okay, I shouldn't like this then. I don't get what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, he probably could have saved. Yeah, Brian. Yeah,
X-Men
X-Men 3
made
is
X-Men
not
3.
great.
Yeah.
Wolverine had the suit in the MCU. He won't have. Well, maybe he'll have maybe. It doesn't have to be the exact same. I like the Wolverine. Remember, there's that scene.
The brown suit is the best.
The brown,
suit
the brown, where they had the brown suited. I love the brown suit. I'm a brown suit guy. That's like one. I bought those 3 figures when I went to my first comic shop, and Wolverine in the brown costume was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the way they showed it in the Wolverine movie, where they showed the mask and they had the gloves and everything. I thought that looks really cool.
That was cool.
Wolverine is such a good movie, man. Especially like the unrated.
Oh
one,
yeah.
Which is like you actually see some of the hits now, because that was the one thing is like you would see him thrust down or something, but you wouldn't see the end shot. Well, in this version, you see the end shot. But it's like the fight on the bullet train and then the temple and then going to the village and like 5,000 guys shooting the grapples at him. Like, I don't know. It's just such a journey movie. Like, and I think that's what it's supposed to be. And even like at the beginning, Wolverine saving that guy from the bomb.
That was awesome.
I mean, that was awesome. Like, such an enjoyable movie when I rewatched it. And it's not like Logan, where it's got this extra emotional weight on it, where it's sort of pressing you down. Like, you can appreciate it, but it's like, it's not what I would call an enjoyable movie. I'm not sitting there like, man, this is great. I'm like, man, it sucks to be Logan.
Thank you. Thank you, Truth. Yeah, I like the Wolverine because it's just like a fun. It's like Logan is maybe the better film, but the Wolverine is like, look, this is a cool movie. I'm watching this. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna throw in the Wolverine because it's just a cool movie.
Hey, Truth.
Hey there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why they don't they like Wolverine needs to be like James Bond. They should just do a Wolverine movie every couple of years, and you could and it could be in any time period. It doesn't need to have continuity, and any director can come in and put his little spin. It's like, I want to do Wolverine as Patch, and he's trying to infiltrate what's that woman's thing, right? Like, it's like Madripoor. It's like, okay, that's cool. It's like, no. I want to do one during like Civil War era or something, and he'll be fighting guys. Okay, you could do that one. Like, I mean, this is like a character that can go on in any movie, and it's super easy. You just need one person, and the entire rest of the cast can change.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just need one guy to do it. This is a no-brainer. It's so easy.
X-Men is a very like malleable franchise. You could do all sorts of stuff with it, and I think Feige probably knows that, and that's why they're taking their time with it. because even with that one character, Wolverine, as you say, you can spin off a whole bunch of different movies. Then you have X-Men, but within the X-Men, there's other characters you could do different. Like, I know everyone laughed at the idea of a Gambit movie, but you can do a Gambit movie if you wanted to. You could do a whole Storm film if you wanted to.
I mean, Storm
Where
is
she's
killing
a goddess in Africa, and she had, because there were stories before X-Men with her as well. So yeah,
and you got your powerful female black woman. Like, okay,
Yeah.
and everyone
it's
likes
not everything. Yeah,
literally
And then-
everyone likes Storm.
Yeah.
I've never. I'm a big X-Men person. I've not met anyone in my travels through this channel or through otherwise who doesn't like the character of Storm.
Yeah.
Literally everyone likes Storm. Nobody like.
Yeah.
There's some people that don't like Gambit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like a super Gambit guy. Like, he's in the cartoon. Like, yeah, he's okay. Like, I'm not dying over him. But
that was his
everyone
big
like.
break. That cartoon.
was his big
'cause
break,
Then
yeah.
everyone loved him. Yeah, yeah.
But everyone loves Storm. It's
Yeah.
like there's nobody who's like, oh, Storm, yeah, that's a shit character. Like, nobody thinks that, but they don't do anything with her. Instead, let's try
I
to
know.
like, like I don't know. Did you hear Shang-Chi is might be banned in India?
In India?
No, I'm sorry, in China.
I don't know. It might be. It's aren't they? They're trying to decide because they only let in certain amounts of American movies, right? So now they're all pissy about Shang-Chi and Eternals.
Yes, those
So-
are the two that they're all pissy over. I saw the what's his face put a thing on. And I'm like, oh man, you guys are too much. It's like, I wonder if there's people out there in China who are like, I gotta try to like download this or pirate it or whatever.
Well, they're totally going to pirate it. They've been pissing and moaning about it on social media there, but they're totally going to pirate the thing when it comes
Yeah,
out.
guaranteed.
You know?
It's like they all watch the Snyder cut, so like I'm sure they're gonna get this somehow or whatever. But it's just funny because like Disney loves China, and it's like,
Yeah.
Well, everyone wants to pander to China, but like the trick is not to pander to China. I mean, they're gonna like your thing whether they love the Fast and Furious franchise. Name me 5 Chinese characters in that franchise. You can't. They love what they love. They want to be entertained just like anybody else. They want action. They want lots of slam bangery. They want all that BS, right? So
yeah, Van Damme movies always go down well,
yeah,
right? Van Damme is employed from the international market, not the American market. North
Yeah.
America doesn't give a crap about Van Damme.
Same with
Right?
Seagal.
Same with Seagal.
oh
It's-
yes, yeah.
Right, it's like obviously French, Chinese, like these European markets, they love this guy. This was addressed in that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Oh no, Sean hasn't seen it yet. Oh, Sean, once we get our things, you have to come over and watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I've watched it about 7 or 8 times now. I love it. Hey Caleb, what's going on, dude?
Hey, Caleb.
Yeah, but they address that where it's like,
Yeah.
like there's this international market where people really appreciate just fun movies. Like Van Damme has made not the same movie, but very close to the same kind of thing. It's all action packed fights. He's a whatever character he is, and he fights bad guys. People eat it up. That's what they
Yeah.
like. The Chinese market. There's no Chinese people in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and 200 million people watched it or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they don't care about seeing a Chinese person. They just want fights and action.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a Shang-Chi movie because that's
Me
a
too.
classic character and everything.
Yeah.
But if you made it to pander to China, you're an idiot. I mean, it's the old the old example I always say. It's like if China made a movie about the Civil War, and they had shabby actors in it and stuff, and they released it in the United States, would you watch it? Hell, no, you wouldn't. You would think it's disrespectful. You would think it's insulting. Now look at what America's doing in China. It's the same freaking thing. It's like they're making all these Shang-Chi. It's like the Chinese are like, we watch all these kinds of movies ourselves made by Chinese all the time. Now you want to show us yours? I don't think so.
That
You
is
would be
true.
insulted. They're insulted, of course. Of
Right.
But
course.
like, what about what's the problem with Eternals? That's my question. Is like saying
Because of the
Shang-Chi-
director.
Oh,
director's
oh
too-
yeah,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah,
like her.
okay.
They
Yeah.
don't
She
Okay.
like
speaks
her.
out against China.
She speaks out against China.
Yeah.
Guess
Okay.
what? If you speak
Which
out
is her
against
right,
the
and the thing
country,
is that there are many human rights violations, but that's the thing. It's like to them, she's probably not Chinese. because she's not
She
in
was
line
born-
with the Chinese politics over there, right?
She was born there though, but then she came here and she's like,
No,
oh, in
but
China.
like what I'm saying is that like she's not like a communist. Like she's not. You
Oh,
know,
I know she's
communist,
not
the,
communist. Yeah.
the Communist Party of China, won't like her.
Of course.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, but you also don't go around saying, "Oh, I didn't have any freedoms in China." It's like, well, we already know that. Number one. Number two, you saying that just means that your movie won't play there.
Yeah.
That
it's
was
like-
that was the Aquaman writer. She's like, if you don't like my politics, don't read my Aquaman comic. Okay, I won't.
And then no one
it's like-
read
and then
it,
no one
and then
read-
it
no
got
one read your
canceled.
Aquaman
Do these
It's
guys
like-
realize they're in the business of selling their product?
No,
Like,
they're not. No, they're not.
No,
They're not.
they're in the business of social engineering.
Yeah,
It's what
they
they
don't
think
give
they
a
are.
crap about any of the
Yeah.
characters. You think that Ta-Nehisi Coates gives a crap about Captain
Hey,
America?
Anthony,
Hey,
I like how
Anthony.
you had to disparage the director and then say hello.
Yeah, yeah. I think somebody was asking for a link. I always throw a link up for the last hour so we can have dumpster fire last hour. Where are we up here? When you throwing the link up? I just did. Hey, Anthony. Okay, did I get everybody? Yeah, that's everybody. Yeah, like, so guess what? If you go on social media and you say China is garbage, then you make a movie, they're probably not going to watch it.
Yeah.
Since they have to approve
Like
everything.
China wants to make money too, so all this like they're not. I see all these reports like they're not banning anything. They're considering, and they can even change their mind pretty quickly, right?
They could. Hey,
If they think that it's going to if they think it's going to make a lot of money for their theaters, they're going to let it in.
Yeah, like they had no problems with Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
So what's Eternals they wouldn't have had no problem with, except for the director opened up her stupid mouth.
I don't understand how they don't understand that what they're doing is like affecting their ability to make more movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. It's like having a shoe company who makes a shoe and has a shoe store, and when you walk in the door, they're just like, they call you fat and ugly when you walk in, every customer, and then they're like, why aren't we selling more shoes?
They're like, fuck feet.
Yeah.
Fuck you. and then it's like, oh, I don't know why you don't have any business.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're making fun of your audience, and it's like, okay, well then they're not going to watch your thing or buy your product. And like literally, that's all that guy does. What, Skeptic? Why are we having this like bake off here?
Is it delivery? No, it's delicious.
It's delicious. I'm gonna put you back when you're done doing your thing. I'll watch you in the background. Because the thing is, they're gonna shut me down saying it's advertising for
Delicious Pizza.
Delicious Pizza.
What about when I do this?
Everyone loves Coca-Cola. Not everyone loves Delicious.
Skeptics, what's going on?
Like,
I
what
wanted
is
to see
happening
how he finished that off. Was he going to use a
Oh, he's
pizza
putting it in
pan
a-
or not?
Yeah,
It looked
it's like
like
how
it looked like a Hawaiian pizza.
yes,
Yeah.
it did. We'll put you back on when you're ready. When you're ready. Are
When
you
you
ready
have
now?
you've eaten.
Okay. Right now I'm seeing the roof. The roof is. Are you good? Okay. Are you okay now?
Ooh.
Well, thank you, Anthony. At least Anthony's gonna finish eating before he shows up. Like, not this kitchen cupboard, guys. It's literally been 1 second.
It took
I got a whole
almost
bunch.
no
I got a
time
whole
for
bunch of
this
new.
to go through.
Did you like type in dumpster fire for the next time?
Yes,
you
I
used it?
did. I typed in dumpster fire in Canva, and I
You
thought,
realize it literally took no time whatsoever.
for that
Like
to happen.
no
yeah.
time whatsoever before
And I
we
got-
received Skeptic's icebox. Like
I
no
got
time.
I got better one. I got better ones now for some of the other ones that I didn't like as much. So I've got better ones that I can make fun of people.
Oh,
with.
what, did you get rid of Maxwell Smart?
No, I still got Maxwell Smart because
Okay, good,
he's just too good. But I've got a better one for my girl.
Oh. She's just like.
She's the best. What's going on, Arkham?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh yeah.
You're like head bobbing.
Everyone's gonna have their own intro now when they come in. I'm gonna get an intro for everybody.
I
It's
totally
like-
forgot I had this, guys. Oh
What's
my
that?
god.
What is it? I can't tell what it is.
Are you just trying to show us medicine or something?
Oh yeah, it's my medicine. It's just
It's
some
not
pink
medicine.
kush.
All right.
I'm gonna
Whose intro is that?
I'm gonna get a glass of water, so I'm just gonna go stop my cam for a second.
I'll just put you backstage.
All right, I'll be right back.
Be
Backstage.
safe.
Oh my god, backstage lover from Josie Rabbit.
Hey man, did you are you getting the comics on Tuesday? I know on the comic book section. I reserved them already. Again, I think Superman, a few of them. I know Wonder Girl issue one's coming out and everything.
Yeah, I go on my comic book shop. I have a pull list. So I don't know if you have a pull list with your shop, but like
because they just send like a email for everyone. So like they just tell comic books what's gonna be available, and you just tell them to reserve it, hold it. You have like your own file and stuff like that, and you can just pick it up when you get to the store.
yeah, that's what I have a file too. So I basically have I don't put everything on there. I got the 2 Batmans, the 2 Supermans, Wonder Woman, Flash, Joker, Nightwing, Robin, Infinite Frontier. That's 10. I've got
Are you
some of the
liking
X-Men
Nightwing?
stuff. Sorry?
Are you liking Nightwing? Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's very good. Like to be honest, I never liked the Rick Grayson. Like when looking back, I hated the Rick Grayson. Like,
Oh, nobody liked the Rick Grayson. I didn't read the Rick Grayson stuff. I literally did not read that at all. And I
What?
literally asked my buddy, there's a friend of ours who never appears on stream. They're 2 brothers, and they are super experts in comics. And one of them literally collects like 30, 40 comics easy a month. And I literally just asked him, I said, tell me the number where Rick Grayson is done. And then I'll collect from, and he literally said it was like 72 or something. So then I literally got from 72 and on.
yeah. Worst story ever. Like the one problem I had is they were dragging it on. Like if you get drag it, like they dragged it on too long. Like I like the villain. Like the villain was cool, but like it was going on too long. Like you just wrap it up. No one wants to see this anymore.
Yeah, DC. I don't know. Like we have to figure out what's going on with DC. The books are going up by $1. Are you in the States, Arkham?
Yeah, I mean the United States, like it goes like I don't know what the price is. Like I know the prices, but like they differ. Like sometimes I get variant covers. Like variant covers are more expensive than regular covers. Like it goes 50. Like I don't know who does the prices for the US. DC. But I think it would be Warner Brothers. They do the prices. I don't think like they just do. I have no clue how the prices work.
I think it's they're all going up by $1. DC books are all going up $1. So it was so okay. So Caleb, you're saying they're $4. So that means they're going up to $5. Some of them are going up to $6 because they're the thicker ones. Marvel.
Yeah, like I noticed from the Superman, a few of them they had like it's longer. Like you have the main story and it ends, then they have another story that goes after it. So it's like that. I think that's why like I don't like that. Like don't make if I'm gonna be reading like a Batman comic or something like that, don't put another story in there. I don't want to read that. I just want to read the Batman story, not just another story that comes after it. I feel like it's a way just to get more money. Like that's it. Why? Like why not put another story in there that no one cares about and just up the price?
Yeah, no, I mean like that's literally exactly what it is. Like I don't even have a response to that. That's exactly right. It's like you're like, well, we're just gonna charge $1 more, and here's 6 pages of rubbish that like I don't care about
One moment thing really baffles me because the kid thing at the end appeals to nobody. If you really are a kid, you're gonna read the cool story at the front. That other thing, it's different art, which sucks, and it's very boring. It's very boring, and I don't know why I mean, why not just have an old backup story from like Silver Age or something put in there? You know?
I
Okay,
feel like
so-
they're just doing this to like, I don't know, make the comic book longer and just to charge people more because like when I read comic books, like they're pretty short, they're not that long. Like it took me an extra longer time because it has another thing, but like I just don't understand why they have to do it. Like if you're looking at a comic book, if I'm reading a Batman comic book, I'm reading Batman, not another side story that I don't want to read.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts? I'll do the whole panel on this. I'll start because I want to ask everyone's opinion on this. So, I had this idea that look, DC, they're not sure about comics. They're not sure what to do with them anymore. They're talking about like maybe either selling off the properties or whatever. And I thought, why don't if they're charging to like $5, $6, $7 anyways, and I'm buying Nightwing and Robin and Joker and Batman anyway. I thought, what if they did Detective Comics, Action Comics, Sensational Comics, or whatever it was, Sensation Comics, and then maybe something else. I don't know what else, right? And Action Comics contains a Superman story, a Wonder or a Supergirl story, but like a 30, like a 25, like a 20,
family. Yeah.
so Superman, Supergirl, maybe like Green Lantern, Flash, or whatever. Or Sensation would have Flash and Green Lantern and Wonder Woman, right? And then Detective Comics would have Batman, Joker, Robin, Suicide Squad. Or you could have two. You could have Detective Comics, which is the Bat good guys, and then one for the Bat bad guys. So that would be like Harley Quinn, Joker, Suicide Squad, and then just make each one $10 because I end up spending $50 a week anyways at the shop.
Yeah.
I may as well just get them all in one thing and just literally call it Detective Comics issue 1. Remember Shonen Jump used to be you get one chapter of every manga?
Yeah.
So let me go around. So Sean, what do you think of that as a concept or idea?
I think that's a hard pill to swallow for North American audiences because Shonen Jump. The idea was you're going to try and sample all these things. You've already created an audience where people just read what they want, right? And so now you're saying buy this $10 thing to read the one comic you usually read. And because if you don't want all this, if you don't want Flash and Green Arrow and all that stuff, but you want to read Wonder Woman, now you're forced to buy a $10 thing with these other characters you don't really read. And I don't think anyone would try to read those if they bought the $10 thing.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea, because it's done elsewhere in the world, but I don't know if North Americans would care.
Let me give a rebuttal to that in just a second. I just want to say, hey, Master Swag King Entertainment Killer. That's a great name. Okay, so let me rephrase. Let me go back. What if because right now comics are like $5 anyway. Some of them are going to be $6.
Yeah.
Right.
What if we made it $7 or $8 and made the paper quality just slightly the next thing down so you could get it to like 100 pages and still be around a more reasonable price point. So let's say it's $8 and it's like 100 pages and it's 20 Batman, 20 Batgirl, 20 Robin, 20 Nightwing, whatever. So what do you think of that, Sean?
I think go down to that lower level of quality and reduce the pages, and you've got an affordable comic that it doesn't have to be the same concept you're saying with like pack it with all sorts of stories and make it like $7-8. You can have the same comics that we're getting now that are like $5 or $6 can be drastically cheaper if they just reduce the page quality a bit. I know people will be like, well, what I like is it. Do you really though? Because there are other comics out there, especially the Cinestory comics where they take we used to call them photo novels when I was a wee lad, but where they take cartoon stills and they put word balloons in them. That's a lower quality that's a lower quality paper. It's like 200 plus pages for like about $8 to $10. So if you took these same comics and reduced the page quality to about what the Cinestory sort of page quality is, it it would be drastically cheaper.
Right.
You're saying that you're taking the when I'm off, I'll try and get a sample.
Okay.
I have a whole bunch of them.
Hey
Like-
Ryan, how's it going? And Master Swag, we're gonna discuss that. I like this question, and I've got lots to say on it. Okay, so Sean, yeah, you're saying that, yeah, page quality. I agree. They could decrease that a little bit. And we could
Yeah,
still
you're
get
still
something
getting the
okay.
same image quality for the digitals.
Right.
You know, it's just that the page quality of the comic, and it's not like piss quality. It's not shit. Like you can
Oh,
read
I know.
what's
It's not.
on
It's
there.
exactly. It's not garbage.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's. Okay, so Arkham, what are your thoughts on that? And then we'll go to Skeptic. Then we'll go to Steven. Then we're gonna answer Master Swag. We're gonna
How
talk about his
I think of it, like I wouldn't mind it, like having like instead of like buying every comic book that I want and having one whole book. But I think the downside would be like if some people just want to get Batman or like the Flash or something like that and just want to be focused on that and they don't want to buy anything else. People would. I think certain people would not want to buy everything in like I think it's 100 pages or something like that. Like
right.
I think it would be certain people like I would love the idea to be like it wouldn't be expensive. Have 20 Batman comic books, Supergirl or whatever. Do I think it might happen? I don't know, but like
Okay.
I feel like it depends on the person because if you're a huge like Superman fan, you just want to read a comic book based on Superman, not have these other things reading. I feel like the individual the upsides I would say of having individual comic books are good because you could just read what you really like. The downside is the prices are getting more expensive and everything like that. So there's a 50-50. Like I like the idea,
Right.
but
Yeah, because like it's gonna be.
it might not appeal for everyone. Really, that's what I'm trying to say. It might not appeal for everyone. Like if that person just only reads one specific thing.
Right. Yeah, and my experience of going to the shops though is that I'm not seeing too many one-off buyers. I'm seeing the Batman guy who literally buys anything that's remotely connected to Batman, and he's got a stack. And then I see the Superman guy, and then I see my friend who buys all of the Supermans, Wonder Woman's, Flashes, Green Lanterns, Batmans, and his stack is like. So it's almost like his stack would just be easier to handle. Sean, I saw you. Let's just get real quick. Hey Neil, what's going on, dude? I saw you were streaming. You must be done streaming. I just saw you. His stream went up like right at the same time mine went up.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Okay. Skeptic, what do you think about the idea of like a bunch of comics in one?
I mean, I see the good points, and I see the bad points. The biggest points is like everybody else has been saying. Honestly, like if you only like Wonder Woman, why would you care for the others? Like you're just gonna be paying more for just Wonder Woman. I mean, the best of both worlds would just be like making like a little omnibus of like a little greatest hits or whatever of each one, I guess. But I mean. Yeah, I mean, I think J-Man, I think you're the rare case of people that buy everything. Like usually people buy like just Wonder Woman or something from what I've seen, right?
Okay, yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Finish up. Finish.
Oh yeah, I just think it would be great if like there was a little special edition with like a little mix-up of different stories from different characters, but I don't think it's a good idea to restrict it to just that. And and also, I'm sorry, but I gotta say, I think making comic books cheaper is much better because I mean I know a lot of people aren't buying comic books these days, like newbies and stuff, but like it's always good to find a way to bring new people to them. So I think it's always better to make them cheaper. And not like shitty, but like just cheaper.
Yeah, the thing is nobody's buying them, and then because nobody's buying them, they have to make them more expensive because they need to make more off of each one. And it's just like a vicious cycle of crap.
You get my money. They get a lot more for me.
Then only the super hardcores are buying them.
And the super hardcores are buying it all anyway, though. That's what I'm saying. I'm not seeing too many of the guys who just buys just the one comic. Like everyone that when I go to, it's like a stack. I literally run in. And I'm like, hey Carlos, can I get my movie? He's like, hey J-Man, how's it going? And he quickly grab my stuff, and I want to pay fast
Yep.
because there's a guy every time, because I buy the least amount out of everybody.
You get the least amount.
Crazy. All right, let's Steve, what are your thoughts on that? I know you buy mostly digital when you buy, so for you might be, well, what's your perspective on that if it was a digital thing like that?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good idea in the sense that, I normally wouldn't buy a Wonder Woman comic, so this would sort of force me to buy a Wonder Woman comic, and if I'm buying it, I'll probably read it because I don't like the idea of buying something and not reading it, right? Like, I think that's how it would work with the old Tales to Astonish or Tales of Suspense, where if you got, if you bought it for the Hulk story and you got the Namor story, you'd read the Namor story, maybe you'd become a Namor fan. So I think that's a good idea in that way. You do run into that whole cable package problem where if I'm buying a channel that I want and then you tack 2 channels on and I have zero interest, I'm just going to be annoyed that you're doing that.
Right.
But I do believe that something needs to be done because I'm getting super confused with all these, even just trying to read Batman. I'm like, Detective Comics, Batman the Detective, Joker has Batman elements, like Robin has, like, I'm getting so freaking confused when I come on Thursday and you're like, what did you think of the comic this week? I'm sort of thinking, what was the comic this week? Which one of the 17 titles I'm reading are we talking about now? But I think it's a good idea, honestly, because I would read it and I might become a Wonder Woman fan, more of a Wonder Woman fan, more of a Green Lantern fan. And I wouldn't have to pay as much. I'm looking for something, though, where we start truncating the titles because it's getting so confusing with all the different story strands and all the different things that we need to do something. It's not just cost now. It's like keeping
The
everything
amount of different stories.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you make a good point because, like, Steve, you're a baseball and basketball guy, right? So you have to have TSN to get that, but you don't care about like hockey or whatever. Like I'll watch UFC Saturday nights. But I don't need TSN for literally anything other than I put UFC on.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I'm forced to have TSN, and I can't just buy just when the UFC stuff
exactly.
is on, right? And when I watch my sumo wrestling, it's through an app. So I literally watch those 2 sports. So I don't need it, but I need it for the one.
Yeah.
So you're kind of screwed on that. That's the cable package thing you're talking about, right? Like you're only watching a couple of sports. So
I think sorry.
Just quickly.
Here's Sean's.
This is a step lower than the comic page quality. So it's kind of coarse, but you can see stuff. You can see it all. So this is one of those ones where they take cartoon panels from cartoon shows and put like this is from Spider-Man Maximum Venom, but this thing is $20 Canadian. So but it's like 315 pages. So it's
300?
over 100 pages if you're doing $10 Canadian. So it's $15 US. So if you cut that in half, you get like over 100 pages that are less than $10 US. So like you can do that, and you can even do that. You don't need 100 pages if you're doing this quality and just a regular comic, like a regular comic size of about like 30 or 40 pages or something like that. That's actually even more than usual. It's cheap. It's cheaper. It's not $6, not $5.
Okay, so I think the general idea is that something needs to be done. Either A, make individual comics much cheaper so that the people who only want to get specific ones can still afford to get them all, or give us a lot more for maybe the same price. Like if we're paying $5 or $6 for one comic right now, we need to be getting more for that $5. So give us more for what we're paying, or make it way less. And however you have to do that is what you have to do, because there can't be 17 Batman comics every month that I have to pick up, and each one is $7. It's like, are you guys crazy?
Yeah, no.
First of all, and they do a lot of dirty tricks. Legends of the Dark Knight was a digital first. You could buy all of those right now, digital firsts. Yeah, there's the IC. That's the
75 cents.
5 cents.
I know. I used to pay that. So they need to do something. Okay, so let's move on. And Master Swag, you're saying you wanted. If you ever want to collab, yeah, let's for sure hit me up on anything, and I can come on your channel. You can come on mine, whatever. I'm
No,
on Twitter
positive
at
and
Lifetime Nerd.
negative.
Oh yeah.
Action
Um,
Comics. That's awesome.
I'll put my my Twitter is at Lifetime Nerd, and you can follow me on that, and then we can arrange something. Okay, so Master Swag King's question was: should the movies and comics be separate? I'll start. We'll go around. Yes, they are for sure separate.
No, sorry. What it was?
What?
I'm trying to scroll up here.
Okay, should people learn to separate
movies from
movies from comic
books?
books?
Yes.
Yes, 100.
Isn't it already separate? Like, I haven't seen any connection towards like comic books in any way towards movies. Like,
Well, let me explain what I think. I'm thinking. So, my take is this: look, people say this happened in the comics when they want to enforce an argument for something in a movie they like. But,
yeah,
but if it's something that happened in the comics that they don't like, like Batman had a zebra costume, right? Well, let's see that in the movie. It's like it's from the comics. Superman had a mullet. It's from the comics, right?
Yeah.
Superman was electric blue. I've got the toys of it. It's like it's from and I had the comics of it too. And that lasted for like at least a couple of years. I had like a shit ton of comics with him in that blue. It's like it happened in the comics. So don't give me this crap of this happened in the comics. Well, just because it happened in the comics doesn't mean I want to see it in a movie, right?
Yeah.
But also, or make it a Hey, geeks.
It also depends too. Like, if it's just a popular costume, like if they take like inspiration from I wouldn't mind it coming from the comics to the movies. But if it's like I don't think I think people have to learn with comic books and movies. Not everything's going to translate. You're never gonna see like a full on big fan kind of thing with a comic book lore of say for example the Rob Pattinson Batman, like Easter eggs for bells and everything. You're never gonna do an actual story, like a fan kind of story based on everything that's coming from that book. Like you're never gonna see. But it's like people have to learn that not everything's going to translate. Comic books are just comic books. They're separate. They always been separate. They're not going to translate. Like I do not want comic books and movies to connect because it would not make sense. Like as a big comic book reader, just stay away from it. Stay away.
All right, I'm gonna go to Steve next because you're next on my layout down here.
I mean, they're two different mediums, right? You're telling a story in a comic book. It takes a lot more time than a movie. You have more time to lay out that story. You could have multi-issues on a comic book, whereas you have 90 minutes on a movie to tell the same sort of story. And everyone forgets about this. Budget is huge. So on a comic book, the budget is your imagination. And if you have enough inks and pencils and, people to realize that. But a movie, you have to hire people, equipment, build props, build sets, blah, blah, blah. It's a different beast. Like I write books and I love writing books because the only budget is my imagination. Right. And literally I got free reign. If I had to do these as movies, and J-Man and I made a movie when we were in college, it was a lot different than like us sitting down and shooting the breeze. Like we would write the script and then we would show up on the day and say, oh, we can't do this. We don't have the ability. Right. So like it's totally different medium, totally different expectation. Watchmen, you can get away with the squid. In a theatrical version, you probably can't. Like you got people here who've never read the Watchmen comic. If you throw a squid out there, a psychic squid, they'll be like, "What is this?" Right? You have to separate it. If you don't, you'll either be incredibly disappointed with everything, or just you'll hate movies based on comic books. It'll just be no enjoyment whatsoever. So,
all right, Sean, what's your 2 cents on that?
Well, of course, like movies and comic movies said it a million times. They're different. In movies, you need verisimilitude, which means that everything needs to make sense within the story and within the world of the movie that you're presenting. I've given this example a million times. I'll give it again. I like the Green Lantern movie. I know everyone hates it. I like it only because it's a checkbox of all the stuff from the comics, but I recognize that it doesn't work as a movie because it's not telling you the story. It's just like here he's presented the ring by Abin Sur, I think it was, and then he goes to Oa, and then he gets trained by Killua, Sinestro. He might be bad, and here's this cloud that he has to fight, and and in the end, Sinestro gets the yellow ring, and he's like, finally. It's all from the comics, but it's not telling you the story of why these things are. Is Hal Jordan not stunned that he's on Oa? It's like, is he not scared or something? It's like, who is this Killua guy? Why is Sinestro the way he is? Why does Sinestro get all delighted when he gets the yellow ring? As a comic fan, I know why, because in the comics, that's the way it is. But you're not telling me the story. What's the story? Where do these characters come from? What is their motivation? You need to tell the story in within the movie that you have, and you can't just like plug a bunch of stuff in just because the comics did it, right? You need to tell a story within the 90 minutes or 2.5 hours that you have, right?
All right.
So,
okay, Skeptic, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, sometimes I like to think, like, talking about budget with these type of things, I like to think about, like, I know that Doomsday wasn't a thing in the 70s, but I just imagine Doomsday in, like, the budget of, like, the 70s. I couldn't see that. That would just be wrong. They can't adapt stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I don't really have, like, a huge opinion on it, but, like, it's just... I don't know. I can't really speak right now.
Yeah, that's all right. So they're separate. They're separate mediums, and you have to keep them separate because you can't control. There's things out of your control like budget and all that, and there's also audience because a comic book audience shows up. Like Sean and I started on Detective Comics 400 or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Like we weren't thinking. I saw one of my buddies, Professor Bill from Comic Book University. He was last night. He was streaming there's about 5 or 6 people that all stream at the same time. I'm like, what is this? And I can't follow. So I was stream hopping and he was talking about. I missed it. I didn't know who it was. Apparently, some comic book creator was dissing Infinity Gauntlet because he bought Infinity Gauntlet, and it starts with Thanos having the gauntlet, and the heroes go to fight him and all that. It's really about them trying to get the gauntlet, and the guy's like, well, this is stupid. This isn't the story. It's like, yeah, well, there was the quest prior to that, and it's like, well, you didn't get that. It's like, I know, because that's not what it is.
Because they're going by the movie, right?
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Right. They're going by the movie. So. And
what pissed me off greatly was the whole the Titans thing. It's like Titans is downbeat and dour, but the thing is, all these websites and streaming sites and stuff. Collider was one of them, who purported to be like experts on comic books and stuff like that. They gave Titans, like the live action Titans, a bad review, and they said it's not like the source material. Why is it all dark?
Yeah.
Why is it all gritty? And I was confused by this. Because I know what Titans is based on. It's based on really the 80s and 90s comics, which were like that. And I was like, what the hell? Oh, they're talking about the cartoon. The cartoon is not the source material for Titans. It's an adaptation of the comic books, and it's a kidified version to get kids involved with Titans. It's not the source material. So when they adapted Titans from the comics and made it like a downbeat, dour show, it's like, it's not my cup of tea, but I understand it, right? But like all these reviewers, like they should be ashamed of themselves for calling themselves or purporting themselves to be comic fans and like geeks and stuff. They don't understand what Titans is, and they're saying that they're comparing it to the cartoon, thinking the cartoon is what the thing is. And really the comics is. So they can't separate the two either.
That's
Anyway.
brutal. I didn't realize that's what they were trying to say, that they thought that they thought the Teen Titans Go was the source material. Oh my
It's like
god.
saying Super Friends is the source material for like DC Comics.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
People
true.
think
brutal.
that too. Like, look at Family Guy.
Yeah.
People think Aquaman is just so lame because of Family Guy. Like,
And he's not at all. This
Yeah.
lame Aquaman, that hasn't been like when okay, in Silver Age, everybody was lame in the terms
Yeah.
of what they're calling
Yeah.
lame.
That's
They're all
accurate.
lame. They're all lame. That's what it was. It's all cheesiness. But like when Peter David took over in, I don't know the year, 19 whatever, but I had the entire run, which I sold for $35, which I guess at the time I thought was okay because nobody cared about Aquaman. But I got a tattoo of Aquaman to get to show respect. Anyways, Aquaman is badass. Like he was
Oh, I love
super
it.
badass
Yeah.
in that. And everyone's like, "Oh, you know, Aquaman, he's like a loser." It's like, oh, for what? I'm sorry. What issues were you reading? And even,
Yeah, for real.
yeah, and honestly, this entire panel, our Flash is Wally West.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like Barry Allen died in Crisis, and
Yeah.
he was dead for a long
Yeah. Yeah.
time. And we're going to talk about Flash on Friday, actually, with Skeptic. Me and him are going to talk Flash. And I've got the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Maybe I'll pull out the Crisis on Infinite Earths with Flash dead or whatever. But
I'm gonna have it better set up. I'm gonna because I have that wiring
have
problem
your
or whatever.
couch.
I'm gonna ask my fiance if I can borrow his computer and his webcam.
All right, cool. Yeah, so the thing is like, so we're Wally West people, whether we know that or not, right? Like, you know, and I remember being slightly confused too.
Yeah.
Were you confused, Steve? Because
Yeah.
it's like Barry Allen and Wally West. I'm like, wait a minute, who's the Flash now? And because everyone just keeps saying Barry Allen. I'm like, no, but where's Wally West? He's the Flash.
I only knew Wally West as the Flash. When they were like, oh, there was a Flash before him and a Flash before him, I'm like, what?
Well, I knew their words,
Yeah.
and I knew their names. I know Jay Garrick because I love Justice Society.
I knew them from the cartoons. Like in media, Flash was Barry Allen. He was Barry Allen in Super Friends. He was Barry Allen in that 1990s show.
The 90s show, yep.
But in the comics, he was Wally West. And,
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I knew that there was a baseline. To me, my baseline was not Jay Garrick, of course. It was Barry Allen.
Mhm.
So I knew that
It was
Wally
Wally
West
West
was the outlier. Like it was a
Yeah.
difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was Wally West in the Justice League cartoon, if you remember.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
it was.
never Barry Allen. Like,
No,
I like
what's his
Barry
name?
Allen.
I consider them both Flashes, but I would say, like, when I think of Barry Allen, he's like,
Yeah. What?
when I consider, like, it's the same thing with Batman. It's like, Batman is like a mantle, but it's like a mantle that's passed on. When I think it was in an issue where I think the Flash, I think it's in Infinite Frontier where the Flash calls Wally West the new Flash because he's gonna be traveling the multiverse, and now he's the Flash. You can consider them both Flashes, but the main Flash right now is Wally West.
Yeah, like right
People call me a
now.
freaking Wally West clone.
I mean, Wally West had the same costume though. That was the confusing part. It wasn't
Oh
like
yeah,
like Alan Scott, Jay Garrick goes to Hal Jordan and Barry Allen, but you can in 2 seconds you're like, well, that's not the same character.
Mhm.
You can almost argue that you can't even tell that one is a mantle, like one got the mantle, because Zorro, the Antonio Banderas Zorro movie, Anthony Hopkins is the original Zorro that, let's say, well, Steven, Sean, and I would have known watching those old Disney shows.
Yeah.
That's Don Diego de la Vega.
Yeah.
Right? Alejandro's the father. But then in this one, Don Diego passes it on to a character named Alejandro. So when I saw it in the theater, I thought, oh, this is so cool. It's my old Zorro, who's an old man, giving it, because they even the timeline is different, giving this to a new guy who's now the new Zorro. But people who don't know Zorro will be confused. They're like, wait, was that an older Zorro? It's like, no, that is technically the real Zorro passing it on. But it is confusing. I know for sure. It's confusing for people who don't know. And then, but Zorro looks the same, so it's like you can't tell. And actually, they even say that in that movie. The guy's like, "You're not the Zorro I saw earlier." He's like, "Oh shit."
I think I do agree. It's, like if they have the similar costumes, it can get confusing. Like, I swear, if no one read the comic, because people should, I think it's Superman issue 31 where Superman is training John to become the new Superman. And it's like he's passing down the mantle, and the son thinks like Superman is just Kal-El, but it's not. It's similar to like with the Flash and Batman. It's like a mantle, like he has the genes and everything like that. Superman's training him to become the new Superman when he dies, because Superman's not Kal-El's not gonna be around forever, and someone has to take up that name, Superman. So like with Batman and the Flash, and like it's just like all about like the costume. Like it's very similar. You can't tell the difference. They have to make tweaks of the costume, or you won't notice if it's the same person. That's the problem. Like you have to change the costume, or you don't know if that's Bruce Wayne or that's a different Batman.
I think
that the Hal Jordan Kyle Rayner thing was the best transition, to the point where I don't think Kyle Rayner was supposed to be around that long. They're gonna try and bring back Hal Jordan, but Kyle Rayner was so popular from the story they told that they just kept him. They just kept him around, right?
Yeah, because
like,
he was parallaxed for a long time.
Yeah, that whole parallax thing. Yeah.
What's with Guy Gardner being like the Flash of the show or something like that? Like what's with that? Isn't he like a jerk or something?
He's a jerk. He's supposed to be a jerk.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Yeah. What's with Guy? I don't know. I don't really like a Guy Gardner like show. I don't really care for that.
I think it's just gonna be part of it though.
You mean the Green Lantern show that's gonna have Guy Gardner?
Yeah, I've heard he's the main like Green Lantern for that show.
No, he's not. It's going to be where this HBO Max show is going to have multiple Green Lanterns, so you're gonna have Alan Scott and everyone else.
Yeah, that's my understanding too, Arkham. Like, I thought that was going to be like across time, like the entire.
Yeah, it is. Like, it goes Alan Scott, then you're gonna have Guy Gardner, then you're gonna have multiple Green Lanterns. I think I heard the main Green Lantern is going to be a female, so it's not going to be Guy Gardner.
But who's it going to be? Like Jade or someone? Or
supposedly the rumor is, I think, Jessica Cruz, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I was gonna say Jessica Jones.
Yeah, Jessica Cruz. Justice League movie. Like
I know my comic books. I do not get Marvel.
Jessica Cruz was okay. I thought Jessica Cruz was okay. And what was her partner again? Simon? No, was it Simon? No.
Yeah, they're gonna be introducing them. Like this, is just a rumor. It could be they could be creating a whole new Green Lantern character. I don't know, but like it's gonna be multiple Green Lanterns in multiple timelines, so that's gonna be the show. I'm excited for that. Like, I'm not a big Green Lantern fan, but I always read the famous everyone that reads is Blackest Night, like that. Like that was always that shined, and I'm excited how they're going to do Green Lantern in live action because I didn't mind the movie. It just wasn't very well structured, really. Like,
I like the movie.
Like, I didn't say it's not bad. It's just not like story wise, like some explanations here and there.
Yeah.
Like, I am excited for the TV series because like it's gonna have multiple Green Lanterns that we never seen before, and that's exciting.
See, the thing is that Green Lantern had a great run when Jeff Johns was writing him up to Blackest Night. Like he did Rebirth, which brought back Hal Jordan. And then the Sinestro Corps War was actually really, really good. It was an excellent book. And of course, Blackest Night was awesome. I'm excited for Green Lantern Corps because I think you can do so much with it, and you have so many great Green Lantern characters. They want to do Jessica Cruz. That's awesome. I like Jessica Cruz. I would like to see Kyle Rayner get a spot. I'd love to see John Stewart in there. Like
Yeah.
any of the non-Hal Jordan guys. Like
Mm.
you can have Hal Jordan, but you don't need him. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Like,
you don't need him as the main character. Like
exactly.
you
Exactly.
can have him like just put more focus on the other Green Lantern characters. Like
Yeah.
and also the main villain is going to be Sinestro in the TV series.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, the Green Lantern has a lot of great media outside of comics. There's like the 2 animated movies are awesome.
I had 2 drinks. I had 2. That's it.
The 2 animated movies are awesome. That movie is okay. It's like it's just not a good like movie. It's just but if you're a fan of the comics, everything's there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That freaking Look Dodgers episode is awesome.
I really like the
like-
animated series.
Dodgers.
The animated series on Green Lantern was pretty good too.
That was
It,
great.
it is.
too.
It is really cool.
Yes.
That's a really
Yeah.
cool animated series.
Yeah.
And yeah, the movie, like, we saw it together, right? And we're like,
Yeah.
and we're like, well, what was in it? The parallax thing looked pretty cool. He
Yeah,
fought
it's
guys.
just-
Like, this
it
is kind of
doesn't
cool.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it's just,
You know
it's
what?
just, you know,
I think the one problem that I did have is like
he hasn't.
the CGI. Like when I want to when the Green Lantern HBO Max, I don't want the suits to be CGI. Just
I
make
don't
the
want
suit
that either. I want the
Like,
same.
So the
like
idea was a painted on look, but it was too glowing.
It was weird.
Yeah.
So do you think
Right.
Hal
What's the
Jordan?
green shirt?
I don't think I don't think Hal
No,
Jordan has
never.
gotten his fair shake, in my
No.
opinion.
no.
The cocky
Which is
pilot
why I
that
don't-
has the will to be Green Lantern, but not the temper. You know.
Just do the
That was
Green Lantern
basically
look
it.
from the '97 Justice League film.
It's
that
not that-
was supposed to be Kyle Rayner in name only.
I
feel
know,
like-
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hal Jordan and John Stewart, you hear that. I think this article was a while ago, probably around 2021. They talk about they're not saving Hal Jordan and John Stewart until the Green Lantern Corps movie. Like supposedly the Green Lantern Corps movie is connected to the TV show.
The show.
And-
Yeah.
Yeah, so how they're doing is there could be two Green Lantern, like a TV show and movie, but they're going to connect to each other, and they're gonna have like some kind of like we're gonna have all the Green Lanterns in the movie going against
Yeah.
this big bad. So like I'm excited for that. Like that doesn't come out until 2024. Like even though we could have gotten John Stewart in the Snyder cut. I was a little disappointed, but I am. If this movie happens, it's gonna be very epic. You're gonna see like all the Green Lanterns, Kilowog, Kyle
Why don't they
Rayner,
do-
everyone. That would be
Why don't
awesome.
they do Brave and the Bold? Listen,
Yeah.
why don't they do Brave and the Bold Green Lantern edition? So
Once you do it with one guy.
every episode is look. I know everyone's talking a big thing like, oh yeah, it's like look. I want Hal Jordan. Whatever.
I do
want
too.
Hal Jordan.
I do too.
don't
Like
want
I
these
want to
random other
see.
people. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hal Jordan. He teams up with the new Green Lantern in every episode. It could be Kilowog. It could be that Finn
Yeah.
guy. I don't know much about Green Lantern. It's like it could be Alan Scott for a two-parter. It could be
Yeah.
Simon Baz is the
Yeah.
other one, right? Jessica Cruz. It could be Tom Cruise. It could be Penelope Cruz. It
Tom
could be, whatever.
I
Whatever
want
Cruz is
more. I want more like things about the other like cores, like the
Yeah.
core,
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever.
and
I
he can
agree.
join up with someone every time.
Yeah,
he
we're
can join up
getting
with someone
the
different
cover
every
spectrum.
episode.
We're gonna get that in the TV show because, like, I heard that we're gonna have the red core, we're gonna have the pink core, and like the villains gonna be Sinestro with the yellow core. So we're gonna see
Yeah.
some of the cores. I think like we're not gonna see every core, but I'm assuming they're saving some of the other cores for the movie that we're gonna get in 2023.
Mhm.
So like when we get that movie, I want the they said multiple times that the main characters will be John Stewart and Hal Jordan. So that
Yeah,
I feel like I want them to be on the TV show, but at the other point, like they feel like I want to see a movie where they can shine and they're the main
Yeah.
characters and everything, because this TV show is not gonna have them as the main character. They're gonna have like
You need to have someone, to
someone like-
follow.
yeah.
Right.
The
You need
fact
to
that
have
there's
someone.
Mhm. The fact that they were so like crazy about Zack Snyder not putting him in, they gotta have something big for Jon Stewart. They're probably planning something because I don't know why they would be so crazy about it.
If they insisted that movie was not supposed to be part of canon, then why insist on not having a Green Lantern in it? It's like,
you're right.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Right.
I thought that was weird because they're like, oh, it's a cul-de-sac. It's not the same continuity. But then they insisted that he doesn't have Jon Stewart at the end, and then he got substituted with Martian Manhunter, which made less sense.
They're probably just saying that, honestly.
Well, all I gotta say is,
Yep.
as long as we get Atrocitus with that weirdo cat, I'm gonna be super happy.
Oh my god, yes, I love the cat. Oh my god, what was the cat called? I said it the other day. The freaking cat. What the hell was the name of it?
Hey, well, Nightwing's dead in Zaki's vision, so
I think we will still get the Nightwing movie, like probably different version, not with the director. Like we will get it. We'll probably. I think it like they talk about like Matt Reeves' universe and like introduce like them introducing a big whole expansion universe and talk about the Bat family and everything like that. I feel like the Matt Reeves universe is the right step towards what we, as a Batman fan, because I can't stress this enough. I like Zack Snyder, but he pissed me off killing off Dick Grayson. Do not piss off a Batman fan.
I gotta ask the question then, because Sean and I were actually talking about this earlier today. What happened to the Batman? No one is talking about that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Every time the Batman thing fly, like they had that mention, and like, oh, it's like that's gonna be the Flash. The Flash. Everyone talks about Batman.
I'm sorry. I kind of hate the costume. I kind of hate the costume for the new Batman movie. It looks way too much like The Dark Knight, and it's worse than Dark Knight, I would say.
Like they aren't finished filming, so they're not gonna really show anything. Like I don't think you like they finished filming. The crew got their T-shirts and everything like that. So like it's done. But I don't think we're gonna get any news until October. Like it's kind of disappointing, but it's the reality that they don't want to show a trailer. Like we're not gonna get a trailer of official trailer until DC Fandom because that's what that's what everything's gonna be at because like we'll probably get new announcements, everything like probably new projects that we don't know of, and that's gonna show up. Like I'm excited for the DC future because like I, as a Batman fan, like the one thing that I always had a problem is like I love the Snyderverse, but the one problem I really had is if you're introduced Batman, introduce a younger Batman. Where's all the villains? Like, I don't want to have a Batman that half of his villains are dead. Like, people want to see where's Clayface, where's all this. This is the reason why I'm excited for Matt Reeves' universe is we're gonna see all the villains that we want to see that we never got in a trilogy.
Okay, so hold on. Let me address that point, and then we're gonna move on. Then we're gonna start to wrap up in a bit. Okay. So first of all, this is my problem. I like everything, so it's fine. But here's my problem is I don't like closed off things.
Yeah.
So an example is I'm watching BVS and it's like, oh, Dick Grayson's dead. Okay, so now Dick Grayson cannot be in a movie, right? So there's one thing gone. You know, it's like, oh, you know, I don't know, this person's gone. Okay, that's another thing. It's like I don't want closed off. I want things to be open. And I don't want them all to happen in one movie either. I don't want Matt Reeves, Superman, or Batman to have so many of these villains showing up. It's like, why? Like, save them. Let me get excited. Like, I need to get excited for something. So for me to get excited for something, I need to be introduced to one cool thing, Batman. And let's have one villain, pick your villain, whoever it happens to be.
Yeah.
Pick him. Now I'm excited. And then there could be something like, remember in one of the Spider-Mans where they thought like it looked like Scorpion was going to be in it, and they never used Scorpion, and I love Scorpion. He didn't come
back. Are you talking about Homecoming?
He was at the end of Homecoming. It's like, where is he?
Well, they're just setting him up. I think he's going to be in probably 3. I guess.
but
It's a
Spider-Man 3 is
problem.
rubbish. Spider-Man 3 is rubbish.
I-
There's too many things.
Well, I
about
don't
it.
know what's
Like,
happening with. I'm not
That's
like
the
listening to
problem
any
that
like.
I hate sometimes is like when you make a decision like killing off Nightwing that brings a block barrier that like
Yeah,
people
there
want
it
to
is.
see the character.
Yeah.
Like I understand it's part of his story, but everyone still hates it. I hear my friend still talks about every day. I hate this decision that Zack Snyder did every freaking time because like as a Batman fan, everyone loves Nightwing. Everyone,
Yeah.
like no matter where you go, like as a big Batman fan or Bat Family fan, they love Nightwing, and I feel like it was just a stupid decision to kill him off.
I agree.
I
I don't
read-
like that either. And yes, I did read the Tim
Yeah.
Drake's the Robin. I have a trade of it. It's like a really thick one, where he fought. Was it Edmund? Mr. Edmund? Or
Yeah,
something?
it was. Yeah, he went to Japan and he got trained by Ducard and he fought King Snake.
Yeah, King
Yeah.
Snake.
Hey, J-Man.
Yep.
I think you got when I was talking about. I think you got Spider-Man 3. It was my bad for the title, but I think you got Spider-Man 3 and No Way Home like mixed up because I was talking about No Way Home. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no way. No. I know you were talking about the third one, Scorpion. But if Scorpion's in that, then I'm not excited
Yeah.
because he's ruined.
Oh, I get
Like, because
that.
he's
Yeah.
it's gonna be a bunch of garbage. It's like this first Spider-Man movies. It's like the first one you had Green Goblin, perfect. The next
Yeah.
one you had Doc Ock, perfect. And then they set up. They closed off the Harry storyline and they introduced Sandman. Perfect. Oh no, let's have Venom. Not good. Because now both guys ruined. Double C, what's going on? I missed the Spider-Man cartoon.
Which one?
I love all the Spider-Man cartoons.
Yeah, there's like
so it doesn't
Yeah.
matter which one you're talking about. I miss all of them.
spectacular.
I had the first appearance of Tim Drake, which I accidentally gave away to someone. It was in beat up garbage condition. I didn't even know it was the first appearance of Tim Drake. I never even thought I had it. I don't know why. But you can probably still get that and not pay a massive
How much
amount
is it?
for it.
Let's see. First
You
appearance of
can
Tim
find it
Drake.
for like
I'm gonna look
30,
that
40
up.
bucks on eBay. But all right, so before we close off, I'm going to say goodbye to the panel, to Arkham and Skeptic. Skeptic, I'm going to see
Okay.
you on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a bunch of
And
notes and
next
stuff.
Friday for me,
And
right?
the Friday after that for you, Arkham. Yeah, we'll do so Flash and Batman. All right, guys. I'm not gonna end the stream yet, but I'm gonna end it in like maybe 10 or 15. So just to we'll close out.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, cool,
Okay.
guys. All right. Oh, that's weird. Let's get us to a normal looking. I don't want to be too zoomed in.
Yeah.
But okay, so we got so I'm gonna try to finish Bad Batch, and then we can talk about that and try to catch up. I don't know how many episodes it's gonna be.
16.
16. Oh wow.
Yeah.
The first one on Fox Kids. Hey,
Yeah, the 90s one, it's not really the first one, but like the 90s one is cool because it actually takes stories from the comics.
yes.
The first one is the 60s one that took stories from the comics, but at that point there weren't that many comics. So
Yeah, I love that one. The 90s one is cool because it actually did a better Venom than the
Venom's in it, Carnage is in it, everyone's in it. Blade's
and they
in
didn't
it,
do Secret
everyone's in
Wars.
it. Yeah.
They kind of fixed the problem of Secret Wars because they didn't have to do Secret Wars to still give you a pretty good Venom, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they still had a Secret Wars though.
Yeah, but was it to introduce Venom or no?
No, it didn't.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't remember all the details of that cartoon. Oh, by the way. Oh, dude, I saw you on Clobbering Times. I saw you on Clobbering Times last night. We were talking. I don't know if you saw me. There's a lot of people on his chat. We were talking some Star Trek last night. I like Clobbering Times because it's like straight, pure. We're talking about Star Trek. That's it. Like this topic is Star Trek, and then they just go through every episode. So every Saturday night, they're going through all 735 real Star Trek things.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
Once they get to the V'ger movie, I'm going to be giving it 10 out of 10. Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah, I saw you on there. I was like, oh my god. And yeah, and he you get to rate. He asks you for your rating, so the chat rates their.
Oh, that's cool.
But everyone on that chat's pissed off at me because they're talking about The Prisoner, and I started watching it, and they're like, "Hey, I thought we were gonna watch it together." I'm like, that's not happening. It's like if I get pumped up for something, I'm watching it. I'm not waiting around for it. I know people be like, "Oh, Jay, I'll show this to you next time you come over." That's not happening. If it's cool, I'm watching it now. It's like, like Steve like Steve, I'll go to Steve's place a lot. So Steve will literally say, "I want to show you this movie," and then I'm like, "Okay, then I will not watch that." But you have to be that specific.
Yeah.
You can't just be like, "This is a cool movie," and then I'll go watch it, and then you're like, "Oh shit, I wanted to watch that with you." Well, you didn't say that. You literally have to say, like Steve literally says, "Jason," my name's Jay. He is like, "Jason, do not watch this movie. I'm going to show it." I'm like, "All right, fine." Just started Star Trek. Oh, I'm very happy for you.
Like the
Starting
60s Star Trek.
I guess the real
Yeah.
Star Trek. Deep Space
Yeah.
Nine is my favorite, and then the original series. Oh yeah, I like Enterprise. I liked all of Enterprise. The first two seasons were really strong.
Holy cow!
What
Kind
kind
of
of
movies
movies have
just don't
you?
like each ones, man.
We've seen everything together. Basically, since Marco, let's get Marco in here since he's just joined. Hey, Marco, you got 5 minutes to say what you want, and then I'm logging off. Go.
Wait, what am I saying again?
I don't know. Whatever you want to say.
Hi. I'm still a bit hung up on the Batman animated series a little bit. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I never really wanted to. I didn't even know why. I know it was ending. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm gonna go. Bye.
No, it's like just
I gotta-
you could just. Oh, let's see, One Punch Man.
Yeah,
One Punch Man, yeah.
One Punch Man. I love One Punch Man.
Yeah.
I just got season 2. I didn't watch season 2 yet. Did you watch season 2?
Oh, I've seen season 2. Just to let you know that there's going to be some hit and miss moments with sometimes the animation. Like the animation, like is what people complain about the season 2 of One Punch Man is that there's a studio change, much like Attack on Titan with Studio Mappa. They switched from Madhouse to JC staff. Let me tell you something. You might see some parts where it's kind of stiff, but let me tell you, season 2 soundtrack, like this, I mean, the sound effects are perfect.
Killer.
So crisp.
Yeah, I like. Have you guys watched One Punch Man or read One Punch
No,
Man?
I know of
You
it. but no.
showed me part of
I
it.
showed you a few of episodes or something, right?
Saitama.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. My wife's got the Funko Pop of Saitama. She's caught up on One Punch Man. She's read everything, so she's way ahead of the cartoon. So she's not watching the cartoon because she's just so way ahead of it that it's like there's no point for her to even bother. So she's reading. Have you seen or heard of Doro Hedoro?
Dorohedoro. I never even heard of it though.
Okay, so that's on Netflix. You should check it out. They don't have the full thing though because it ended, but you can continue with the manga. It's like there's these sorcerers that literally capture people and mutate them, like they'll turn them into bugs or they do these weird experiments on them, and then when the experiments work or not, they throw them back into the real world. So there's these people walking around, they're all weird, and this guy has like this guy literally has like a lizard head, and when he opens up his lizard head and tries to eat you, there's a human person in there, and he's trying to figure out if that's who he used to be, or if that is that he's eaten someone or something. So it's like him and this girl, and they're trying to figure this out. And these sorcerers are evil, weird scumbags, and it's the weirdest thing. It's called Doro, Dorohed, Hedoro. Doro Hedoro.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a second. Does it have an anime adaptation where it's made by Studio Mappa?
I never saw the anime. I'm reading the manga. I just read volume 1. My wife's already on volume 4. So, but it's on Netflix. But the Netflix thing doesn't have the entire series.
All right.
So that's just something for you guys. All right, Marco. That's it.
All right. Bye. Bye.
Yeah. All right. Okay, guys. So I think we're gonna end it off here. Steve's on the phone. We'll put him backstage so he can have his privacy.
Yep.
Oh no, he's done. You done? You good,
Yeah,
Steve?
sorry about that. Our mutual friend called me.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, you can.
Here. All right.
You can. I know it's like our mutual friend. What? He's not on the live stream right now. This is the kind of friends that we have here. It's like he's not watching. Our mutual friend who's not watching us and doesn't know that we're live. But all right, guys, we're gonna end off for today. Thanks everybody in the chat for dropping by. We're gonna be back on Thursday night for the comic book roundup. And then Friday, I'm going to talk to Skeptic, just me and him. We're gonna try to keep it on the Flash topic because he really likes the Flash. And then we're back again on Sunday, and then again next Thursday, and then again next Friday with Arkham talking about Batman. So lots of stuff lined up, and then I'm gonna probably line up something with Master Swag at some point as well. So we'll figure that out as well. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you.